Tantrum are your home of your classic gaming content and debate. This morning we're going all the way back to the 94-95 season when Tottenham played Blackburn Rovers on the 5th of February 1995. Blackburn were Premier League champion from the season before, but Tottenham had Ozzy Adelia sacked him and Jerry Francis was now in charge and we're on a bit of a mini revival. So can Spurs beat the Premier League champions today? We shall find out. Beside me on my left is the man who is one of the greatest co-hosts I think anyone could wish for, but he does half rock a flat cap. It's Coover.
I thought you meant Brian for a minute.
No, I've got something special for Brian.
Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the Dermot intros.
Yeah, I'm well here this morning, Dermot. I was surprised to see you with us because you've had a bit of a rough night as well. So, but you can't keep the man away from Spurs related stuff, can you?
No. I love Spurs related stuff, and this channel is like as good as any antibiotics or steroids you can get to me. And down below.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to clarify the match today. Yeah. I thought this was the season when Blackburn were challenging Man United for the title. What was it?
They won it. Where is it?
They won
94. Oh yeah, they did win it this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we beat them anyway. So we beat the Premier League champions. I got the seasons mixed up.
Spoiler. That's it. Game's ruined. I'm picking another.
Oh well, bollocks. Sorry, excuse me language. And
anyway,
down below,
let's get the Daigle on, shall we?
Yeah. Down below, we have a man that is on his way to England. Levy's getting scared. He's booking his tickets for Jamaica or wherever, one-way ticket, because he's going to come with his pitchfork and his pitchfork and his shovel packed in his bag. It's the one and only Levy Ghostbuster David. How are you, Brian?
They get better and better every time, Dermot, mate. Do you know what? I look forward to it just for those intros. They're brilliant. Whenever, even when I'm not on the camera, and I'm watching the intros you give people, is fantastic. Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Awake very, very early. My cat woke me up at 4 a.m. this morning, which is 9 a.m. your time. But yeah, now I'm trying to stay awake all day so I can just sleep on the plane. So yeah, almost home.
Yeah.
Almost home.
Yeah, bless you. And do you want to give us a quick update on Bosper and
how
it's going?
Of course, I can give everyone an update. So I don't know how much people know in the YouTube community. I mean, as in the people in the chats, because I know you follow all of us on social media. But for the last 24 to 36 hours, I've kind of broken down over this. I'm okay now. But the news with Bob is yesterday they had to put him in a self-induced coma. His oxygen has gone up to 80% dependency as opposed to 60% that it was, or whatever you want to say about it. So yeah, they've put him out. And the reason they've put him out is he's also got pneumonia now. So he's got pneumonia as well as COVID, and they're saying that at the moment keeping him awake and having him breathe by himself and eating, it's taking too much energy for him, so he needs all of his energy to fight the coronavirus and obviously the pneumonia. So they've put him on a self-induced coma, so hopefully he can battle this on all fronts. So we're hoping for improvements. It was a bit of a setback obviously that we've gone this way, but then you can look at it the other way to say, well, if he needs to be knocked out so he can focus on it, that's the other way to look at it. Depends if your glass half full or half empty. But yeah, but Kim again has just been absolutely unbelievably outstanding. This girl is just, I don't think there's words to put how incredible she is, how special she is, how amazing she is with what she's doing. So help is on the way for her because she's exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. Her parents, Iris and Arthur, being incredible as well. So I am flying back today and I'm staying till January the 13th. So I'll be able to support all of them and everyone else that needs supporting, and also get the support that I need as well, because it's our wonderful YouTube community that we have is just incredible to be with you again. And then to wrap it up and to put it nicely, yeah, you're damn right, Levy. I'm there for 13 days of January, so we best have signed some people very, very quickly. or he knows what's coming. He knows what's coming. Yeah,
I can faintly hear cobwebs being blown off checkbooks now.
yeah. I mean, what we'll do as well is, I mean, we're about to watch a game where we have Jurgen Klinsmann brought in from us by Sugar, and players of that ilk that used to be at the squad. And let's just hope we rise to that again.
Yeah, just a quick question, you two. While Cooper's getting the game ready, did you see the comment made by the Brentford manager last night that all games this week,
Yeah.
all Premier League games, should be cancelled? What's your thoughts on that, very quickly, Brian?
So, do you know, the players need to, I mean, you look at this, there's two ways to look at this. When it comes to the players and everything, they, as professionals, you can look at it both ways. Either they should have the vaccines. I know it's freedom of choice, I understand that, but when you're in that kind of thing, and your work is travelling as well, you really should be doing it. But then you've also got to look at it, they've got to be careful because of the family that they come into contact with. But the main aspect of this is for the fans. Like, you know what happened. I mean, the Burnley game got called off for us, but that was snow, and we know how that felt for all the fans travelling up there. And then obviously it happened to Watford yesterday, where fans went up there, and then it was called off there. It's not fair for fans that are like, do I need to take a day off work? Do I need to book a train ticket? Do I need to get up there? Do I need to? And then to get up there, only to have the game cancelled, and have to make the whole trip back. So I think, as I'm trying to look at this more for the fan aspect. The fan aspect is especially at Christmas time, travel is very, very expensive, and people want to spend a lot of time with their families. And you look at it, and maybe it is a wise thing, just for the fans, so the fans know, right, this weekend I'm not travelling, or so we'll see. I mean, obviously, when it comes to how it is back home, I will find out very quickly, as we know. I'm coming back today, or to our land tomorrow, your time. But you guys will know better how rampant this is right now. So what is it like back home right now?
Cooper, I'll let you speak for that, because
it's
in Ireland,
it's just it's up in the air all the time. There seems to be no direction with anything. There's no sort of governing body of any kind with any firm decisions on stuff. I'll try and advise people, if you're looking to spend a lot of money on travel to get to the games at the moment, I'll really give it second thoughts, because a lot of those travel costs are non-refundable, even if you get your ticket price back. It just doesn't make sense at the moment. Maybe give it a bit of a delay till things are in place and teams have managed to regroup. I mean, we're comically billing this tonight's game as potentially the team with no midfield against the team with no central defence. It only takes a couple more dropping out, and already the game's looking farcical. Are we going to end up with another last-minute cancellation, a bit postponement? It's stupidity. We just need to have a nice, like we keep saying, the circuit breaker. Just give teams a chance to get their own houses in order. Recover from any sort of infectious sort of outbreaks, and then gently ease back into the football in a really, really staggered and controlled way. Gives the fans time to recover, bit of time between each game, so you can see if there's any after effects from it. But we're getting none of that. Of course, it's all cram it in. It's Christmas. Of course, everybody wants the football. I mean, I love it as well. Yep. Christmas, one of the times you look forward to. Even from a kid, you Boxing Day games, brilliant. You'd sit there with your leftover Christmas dinners and things, and eating the turkey sandwiches, game on the TV, cup of tea, brilliant stuff. But we're just going to be sensible at the moment, because, as we know, we've got our Bob in the hospital now over COVID. We're seeing the effects. I think we all know people that have been affected by it, if it's not ourselves. So let's do the sensible thing. Get something in place, and got to look at the government to do it, because otherwise the Premier League will just let it carry on going, because it's their cash cow.
Yeah, I mean, over here we've got a thing called NEFIT, which is like the medical sort of dual meet, all like the big doctors and everything meet. They've been giving our government the restrictions. I mean, they're meeting today. Now we could have gone into another lockdown over Christmas over here. I mean, yesterday we had over 4,500 new cases in a 24-hour period. But 95% of the population in Ireland have been double vaccinated. So it is important to get your vaccinations. I mean, I've been triple vaccinated against, but it is worth it. So, even over here, I don't know, but I think personally, I think there should be a circuit breaker. I know it's going to disappoint everyone. Yeah, it's going to disappoint everyone. But go on, Brian. Yeah, sorry.
No. You finish. No, you finish.
I think it's going to disappoint everyone, but for the safety of the fans, which is my main priority, the fans need to be looked after. Forget the players, they need to be looked after, but the clubs look after them. Nobody looks after the fans, and this has to come. The fact the government have to say, right, for people's safety, this has to be knocked on the head. And you have a prime minister over there who actually doesn't give a shit, only for the hobnobs and the millionaires. And I have no qualms to saying that, and I apologise. But I think our government here is not doing a bad job. For a little country, we're doing better than what England is, and England is a far bigger country than what we are.
Yep.
So as much as we hate our government sometimes, you've got to tip your hat off to them. They're trying their best. And also Cody Mack as well. Timber. I'll just read some of these out. Go on, Brian. What are you going to say?
No, I was going to say there's a comment there that I just want to comment on, and it's from GRL58 Graham. So Graham is a good friend of mine. I actually met him last time I was back, and he was at every single Levy Out protest with me. He's a great guy, Graham. I just want to say, you messaged me on Facebook. I sent you a voice note yesterday with a bit more explanation. I'm flying home today, Graham, so I'll be with you at more Levy Out protests very, very soon. And yeah, just check your Facebook, Graham. I sent you a message.
And be careful, Graham. And thank you for it. Does he run the Levy Out? Does he, Brian?
He's huge Levy Out with me. He's been at every single protest I go to.
Well, big up, Graham. Absolutely big up, sir. And be careful. Enjoy the game, but please take precautions. Be careful. Look after yourself. And thank you for everything you're doing with Brian with the Levy Out. We all support you, sir.
And I'll also point out that Graham has a very solid first name. Because I'm a Graham too.
Oh yeah. Is that your first name?
Yeah, I only use Cuba because so many people knew me as Cuba on mine anyway from games playing, so I've stuck with it because it's always been easier.
All right, you're Cuba to me. I won't call you Graham. You don't look like the Graham. You look
people
like
seem to remember Cuba anyway. There's a lot of Grahams around.
Do we just get some of these comments in before we start the game? Cody Mack says Kimber is made of gold dust. We all agree with that. Celery Agent said with angel dust on top. Mark Cousins says, big up, lads. How are we all?
Sorry, just whilst you're going through these comments, I'm just going to go and make another cup of tea because it's really early in the morning. I'm back in 2 seconds.
One for me as well, please, Brian.
Okay, mate. I'll throw it over the Atlantic for you. Back in one.
No problem. Alexander Hilton said hi. Chris says hi all. Hope you're all well. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Feeling a bit this morning, but I'm all right. Hoover's drinking his
medicinal Coca-Cola.
Okay. That's it. So how are you, Chris? Asking how you are.
Doing well here, Chris. Thank you.
I got
you're
there.
good too.
Alexander's calling you Graham Souness.
He spells his Graham a bit differently than that, doesn't he? With an E, well, 2 E's.
Celery Agent says Coys. Mark Cousins says the new Omicron is apparently more easily transmitted, and they said the infection numbers will double every couple of days. Wow. I read that as well. But Mark, I'd love to know your thoughts. Should the games be cancelled the weekend? I love everyone's thoughts on that. Should all the Premier? Do you agree with the Brentford manager? Should the games be cancelled? Graham says best wishes to Bob. Chris says, got my booster yesterday, been a bit headache today. Yeah, you will go through that. But well done. And then Cody Max says, I have a feeling David could actually throw a cup of tea that far.
If it's at Levy, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris says, milk and no sugar in mine, please, Brian. So do you want to tell everyone what match we're watching this morning?
Yeah, we did a little earlier, but let's recap it before we show it. It's going to be Tottenham Hotspur against Blackburn Rovers from the 1994-1995 season. It's Dermot's birthday, as you said earlier, Dermot, 5th of February. This is the season where Ozzy Ardiles has been sacked from Spurs and Jerry Francis has taken over when we were languishing at the bottom of the table. So a bit of a change up from that sort of suicidally attacking front five that we used to have, but there's still a lot of those players on view. So we got the likes of Sheringham, Anderton, Barmby, Popescu. Who else we got in there? We've got we've got somebody who shall not be named in defence, but he was a major part of the team by this point.
Was it?
Yeah.
He was part
in this game. Yeah,
he was partnering Colin Calderwood, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Gary
Mabbutt's still there. I think Gary Mabbott might be playing right back in this game to fill in for injuries, but and Justin Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Interestingly,
Isn't it funny that you mentioned Justin Edinburgh, and you can't help, you still think he's alive with this, don't you? Considering what happened to him as well.
Yeah, it's you're right. Seems only yesterday that he was playing for us.
Yeah.
So so it's all changing a lot of ways here. We've got Ian Walker in goal. He certainly mixed opinions on him, that's for sure.
He was worse than Delaney.
He did all right in some games, but there was a few too many mistakes, wasn't there? Interestingly, Blackburn have Bobby Mims in goal. That's one of our ex-players as well, and he was terrible for us.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, he came from a great Everton side and then went to a Blackburn side that wins the title. For us, he couldn't catch a cold. Well, yeah, he probably couldn't get COVID nowadays. So it's that Galini joke I made the other day.
I mean, Mark Cousin put here, games cancelled definitely. We're dealing with a pandemic here, not just the players, but the fans too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree, Mark. It's just common sense, isn't it?
Yeah,
everybody can see it, I think. Except for the people that matter, unfortunately.
Then Brian's just talking to Carl Simpson. And then Alexander Hilton put RIP Justin went to the tour, and there was time a couple of something of what Justin had. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, or I?
Time capsule of something of what Justin has.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, sorry. Do you want to get the game sort of up ready and wait for Brian there?
Oh, I've got it ready to go. I thought we'd wait for Brian to settle down. Or
that's a good idea.
What else? Blackburn, Tim Sherwood driving midfield forward as well for them.
Was Alan Shearer playing for them? He wasn't
Shearer
he?
and Sutton up front.
Yeah.
Yes, the famous SAS combination they had.
I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I heard Blackburn trying to buy Teddy Sheringham around that time too.
I wouldn't have been surprised. Great player, Teddy Sheringham. Because we've seen how well Sheringham and Shearer did together for England. Fantastic stuff.
Celery. I'll give the man a break. It's 6:00 in the morning there. Come on, Celery. Look, he's got the kettle on.
Someone's spoiled, lads.
Take your time, Brian. It's okay.
Yeah, Tim Sherwood in midfield for Blackburn. He was showing the leadership qualities that got them to win the league that season. What did you think of him when he came to us? Because as a player, I really rated him still.
Who, Tim Sherwood? Yeah, I did. I actually rated him as a manager for us as well.
certainly had the passion, didn't he?
Yeah.
I used to love his press conferences.
Yeah, they were great. I just want to ask the comments. If the Leicester game is called off tonight, which I have a funny feeling it will be, I have a funny feeling that game won't go ahead, but as we said last night, TV money does rule. What game would you like to see? So just put in the comments what game you like to see. The 1973 League Cup final or an 80s game. So just let us know, or the 82 Cup final. So just let us know out of them two what you would like us to put on if there's no game tonight. Personally, I think we should do the 73 because we haven't done the 73 League Cup final yet, or the 71 League Cup final.
Yeah, quite possibly. Alexander Hilton said, Adebayor's salute to Sherwood. That was the famous photograph. I just want to put on Dermot's best 11, the thumbnail for that one. I slipped it on to be a bit cheeky, but Dermot loved it.
I did. I actually did. That's why I always do that. I do it as that. I've always done it.
It was funny.
We've got a few comments coming in. Alexander Hilton, he's put 82. Con Simpson's put 73. Sylvie Agent basically doesn't care.
Gets in. We should just do back-to-back Spurs and go on 24-hour streams.
I think we should do that. I think we should do that for charity. Do a 24-hour Spurs match just on the loop.
A 24-hour Spurs match.
Yeah.
What, keep pausing it every few minutes?
No, we could do review of the seasons for 24 hours because we've got a rake of them.
That would be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Also in the chat as well, would you like to see a review of the season? We've got a few. We actually got the 88-89, 88-89, 89-90, 1991, 93-94, and the 95-96 review of the season. Would you like to see that as well? Would you like us to do that on the stream?
Mini highlights from all the games, presumably.
Yeah. So how would you like that? As long as it's not the 7-1 loss to Newcastle, I will watch anything.
I could get us the 8-0 loss to Colne in the Intertoto Cup.
Yeah.
I was almost tempted to do that for a bit of comedy.
Alex Hinton said, do an Irish Hotspur versus Matty Hayes charity match for 24 hours for Bob. Well, I got an idea in my head for that. Actually, I'm now gonna challenge Irish Hotspur to a FIFA game for charity for Bob. So
there you go. Do you know what, Coover, as well? When you were trying to think of shows and what games to bring on if a game's cancelled, I had a idea for what you and Coover and Phil can do for other shows. You should check every day to see if it's any Spurs legends' birthdays. And if it's a legend's birthday, maybe try and dig out a game that you can find from that player. So let's say Ginola or Mackay or whoever. If I'm sure there's a way you can check Spurs players' birthdays.
It's a great idea, Brian. Trouble is, we'll end up. I'll be doing morning shows and saying it's Graham Roberts' birthday again today for the 7th day running.
Just like I was with Bob, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
So that's an idea. We've got reviewed the season, so if you want to see them, we'll get them on as well.
The other thing about a 24-hour stream is now that I'm going to be in England, I can commit to doing a hell of a lot more for Josh when he does his one at Cosmic because I'm on the same time zone, so it's not stupid o'clock, whatever.
No.
So I hope to be with Josh. I might even go the 24 hours with Josh. My parents are away, so I don't need to be quiet. So yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm going to get over. I'll be getting over for that one as much of it as I can as well.
Everyone do get over to Josh on New Year's Day for his charity 24-hour stream. It's well worth it. It's a brilliant charity, so everyone please get over there and give him all your support. So should we get the game going?
Right. Oh, I think we should. People are waiting now, aren't they? Yeah. Are you all set now, Brian?
I'm all set. I've got my tea. Us British people have got our tea. I've got a banana so I can get my potassium in for watch the game when it gets stressful. Like Andy Murray at Wimbledon, so we're good to go.
I should have a pint again somewhere ago. It's 7 o'clock. It's always drinking time over here in Ireland.
And here we go. Bit of Tottenham Blackburn from February the 5th, 1995.
Dermot, where were you sitting for this game? Because I was in the East Upper.
I was in the East Lower.
I should have said hello to you, mate.
Yeah, should have
Should
done.
have waved at you.
I love the referee. I swear that's a wig. Looks like it's a wig. And we're off and underway. This match, a big up again to Duck Drive One for letting us use this match. Simon, thank you so much indeed.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Change that. There's the link to Duck Drive's channel at the bottom of the screen. He's got a wealth of games, all Spurs related and England related. All sort of rare footage he got from VHS tapes that he's uploaded himself. At great cost and great time involved. So he's certainly a hardcore fan from as far as I'm concerned, and it enables us to easily put on some of these classic games. So big up again, Simon.
Yeah, big up Eugene. Thank you for joining in. Celery agent, I've got to pin this up. The ref looks like a carpet salesman.
So I have to say to you, I have a very special connection with this dude.
Yeah.
Celery agent, who's a great supporter of all channels. He really is now. This is how great the YouTube. He lives in Australia, so the time zones we know is ridiculous with Australia. But I've been speaking to him off streams as well now, on and off for about a year. He is just not only a great supporter, but he's a great guy. So big up, Neil. Big up, Mr. Celery Agent.
Great sense of humour as well.
Oh, fantastic.
He's chipping in with some beauties and some of the comments.
Bobby Mims was in goal for Blackburn. I forgot that.
He was saying a little while back. It's amazing how he came from a great Everton side and he looked a really good backup goalkeeper. He came to us and he was absolutely rubbish. And then he went off to Blackburn and goes and gets in a league-winning side. I mean, typical Spurs, isn't it? We get the worst out of a player that's doing great things at other clubs.
I'll tell you what, they just showed a Blackburn player who I really rated as well. Is the guy on the ball, or Stuart Ripley. God, that man could put in a cross. God, that man could put in a cross.
Yeah, one of the most underrated players of their Premier League.
Look at that pass he just did there.
And of course, as we said earlier, Shearer and Sutton, that was a hell of a partnership they had.
Mate, well, that's it. If you look back in the day, that's what. If you could get that good striking partnership, because it was always the 4-4-2, you were blessed. You were blessed. I mean, obviously we've changed because of the modern era of football, but 4-4-2 and everyone pretty much played that formation. That partnership was something special.
Tim Sherwood, a great player, great manager. I rated him as our manager actually, Brian. I don't know if you did. I was just saying.
Judas is there. I forgot Judas playing. But do you know what? With Tim Sherwood, I think he was doing okay, especially at the beginning. But I think what his downfall was first of all his press conference or his interview after the Chelsea game when we got battered 4-0. Which do you know what? I actually thought that was a good thing that he did when he came out and publicly. If you're gonna, the manager takes a lot of flack. So if you want to come out and blame the players, they get away with so much. Do so, but then the 4-0 at Anfield when we were terrible. And the best thing about that game was when the Spurs fans started singing "Let's pretend we scored a goal," and then they went "Way!" and they proper pretended. I mean, it just shows to show what Spurs fans are like. But then you look at him at Aston Villa. All right, he got them to an FA Cup final. They're pretty much there anyway, and they stayed up. But not now. That was a player, Colin Hendry. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
No.
But yeah, Tim Sherwood. I just think if we had got another manager in to coach him, like like what I thought with Ryan Mason, it's like he's now got Conte in, and he'll learn off Conte, and then who knows when Conte, whatever, he may be in a lot better position than he is now, or certainly was back then. If Sherwood had that, like if we got in a really strong manager, like if a Van Gaal had come in, he could have learned off him and then taken it over full time. I just don't think it was the right time for him to do it full time.
There's something about the old White Hart Lane I really miss. I mean, I haven't been to the new stadium yet, Brian. I don't know if you can put me wise to this, but I just miss the old White Hart Lane. I think that place was so special. Do you think we'll get that same specialness in the new ground, or do you think it's going to be something different?
I think the only way that comes about is if we start seeing things on the pitch. Listen, everyone knows my feelings on that person, but one thing I will say: when you go to that stadium, yes, the atmosphere isn't the same. It's going to take a while, and it's going to take Conte to get us to the places we want to go to before that place gets real effect, like real effect. But the actual stadium itself is a work of art. There's not one stone that's been left unturned. You think of everything in there, and it's a work of art. It's a work of art. It's an architectural dream, but the soul has been ripped out. The soul has been ripped out. I mean, this was the season before my season ticket, so I sat a lot of the games in the East Upper, pretty much where I was sitting, pretty much where Klinsmann was just then. But my season ticket used to be, as the Paxton came round to the East stand, the block where the corner flag was, or the Paxton, that's where I sat for 10 seasons, and it was just incredible. And this stadium, the old school stadiums, are just fantastic. You can't replicate them. But if we get the players on the pitch, then it will come. Then it will come.
White Hart Lane was it was like the spiritual home. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Whoever designed the West Stand, either he was drunk or he was dyslexic or something, because he didn't get the tunnel and the centre circle right, did he? Every time I look at it, even now, I'm just thinking, how could you make that mistake? As Kenny Dalglish.
Do you know what? There's been a tweet by George Bannister, which has said, Leicester have made another plea to the Premier League to have tonight postponed. Spurs are against it now, given timing and willingness to play. And it's like, wait a minute, how do we have the right to say we oppose this when we've been trying to get... It's just this club.
It's what I was saying at the time. It's not like Rennes were doing anything we wouldn't do.
No.
Knew it. It's just anything to get the advantage.
Yep.
Carl Simpson. I'd like to respond to that in a minute. But Carl Simpson says, like Brian said, when we start doing things, the place will become a fortress. Yeah. It will. Carl is
another superb follower of every single channel, and I've actually got talking to him a lot on Facebook and everything. He's a real solid guy, real good guy, and hopefully this time I'll get to meet him. So it's great to see Carl in here, mate. And now someone else has just joined, which is Mr. John Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, big up, John.
Don't forget to reach out to me.
Morning, John.
Don't forget to reach out to me, John.
I was on in the Love Lounge with him last night on the comments. That Mari's show. There's some. We were saying we'd get you on this morning, but turns out Dermot was here all along, John. So perhaps we'll get you on another time when.
I've only just come back. I've only just got in. I was only in about 10 minutes, to be fair. So I do want to Dante, and I thought the way back, I thought, "Beck, it's Tottenham, I'll do it."
I'm sure we'll do a call-in show again sooner or later. So we'll have you on then, John, if that's all right with you.
Do you know what? Two players just want to very quickly talk about for us. Darren Anderson, who I was obsessed with. I had his name and number on the back of every shirt. I absolutely loved him. This guy was such a great player. Great, such a skinny physique, but his passing was just outstanding and was incredible. And the other one, and I just wish he hadn't got homesick, was Nicky Barmby.
Yeah.
Nicky Barmby could have done so much with us. He burst onto the scene, and then obviously he went up to Middlesbrough. Just a shame, but two great players.
It's funny seeing some of these looking so young as well.
Yeah,
we've seen them after they retired and things and aged, as we all have. But it's good stuff. And Popescu, he was still with us at this point. What a player that was!
This was the season we signed him.
Yeah.
Popescu, do you know what, sir? I've told the story before about Ili Dumitrescu. I went and got his name and number on the back of my shirt, and then the next day Jerry Francis sent him out on loan. I was like, for God's sake. But Popescu I loved. Popescu was superb.
Yeah.
Absolute, so underrated. He was
Well,
incredible.
Barcelona certainly loved him as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
he's
would.
an incredible player. But do you know what? That was in the days like he was the defensive midfielder that you needed, and that when you're playing a 4-4-2, and Tottenham had just come from Aussie with the flair and all that, I don't think the 4-4-2 set, the way we were playing, like two creative midfielders was good. Like obviously David Howe's always started. David Howe did that job, but we could have got so much more out of Jika.
Yeah,
Chris-
just imagine Jika would have slotted into today's team
Oh,
beautifully.
unbelievably,
Exactly what we need. Yeah.
Chris says the old stadium to feel the history and the glory. My old job was at asbestos company, and we won the contract to survey the stadium. I produced a report on due floor plans of the stadium.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, Chris, fair play to you, buddy.
Yep, fair play to you.
Fair play to you.
And then John Fitzpatrick again. Hiya, John.
Steve.
Thank you for joining
Yeah.
in. And Amsden was my favourite player as a kid.
See, John, me and John are just like that. We are just so entwined. But this man, this man.
How
Well,
can you
I'm
not
hit-
love him?
I'm just going to give you a bit of an update to your tweet, Brian. I'm hearing from a friend of mine who's within Tottenham that
Okay.
the game is looking 60-40 that he might be called off. So at the
So,
moment, it's on
it's going to happen.
60-40.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And also, I'm also hearing that Tottenham, 5 Premier League clubs, but as well with Brentford, are lobbying the Premier League to have the weekend games called off as well.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who their other 4 clubs are. I will try to find out, but I know there's 5 Premier League clubs trying to lobby in the Premier League to have it called off. So probably Manchester
You would
United,
imagine anywhere.
Chelsea.
You would imagine any club that's had any kind of outbreak is going to think, let's get it done early at the moment, because they'll be seeing what's happening with all the other games and last-minute postponements.
Do you know what it is as well, guys? When you look at this, do you remember, Coover, we were talking, I think it was yesterday or the day that I was on the show with you with Ben a couple of days ago, and we're talking about how the airlines, and it could have been good publicity as well or whatever, rather than having empty planes. Just it comes to a time now where you've got to say, if a team stands up to the Premier League and say, listen, this is what's happening, this isn't just for us and our players, but this is for the fans as well that are travelling everywhere, just come out rather than saying, oh yeah, we want to lobby it. Show some common decency. Take the football, and it may be a week at a time or whatever. Have a bit of compassion for the players and their families, but most importantly the supporters that are travelling all over the goddamn country, whether it be in their car using petrol money, whether it be on the train, whether it be on a coach, whatever. Show some compassion to these fans at this time. Graham, my pleasure, buddy. So yeah, it's just getting to the point now where, as much as we love our Christmas program and it's kind of the ritual, you just need to do it. You just need to do it and show some compassion.
Yeah, summed up there by Mark Cousins as well. Bollocks to the Premier League. Safety is first.
Exactly.
Couldn't agree more. It's common sense. It's that always that one phrase keeps coming back to us, isn't it?
Well, they get a game called off because of snow, but for a pandemic, no, we still play.
I think personally the Premier League was slow last time, and they're being slow again this time.
Well, England's been slow, haven't they, with everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes from the top. From the top. That's where it needed to come from.
I mean, every government I think has been slow on this. I think every government has not come out of this with any sort of praise or anything. But I think your government, the government here in Ireland, were very slow. We ended up before Christmas last year, and it puts into a lockdown after Christmas.
Certainly, I'd say Britain and the USA were appalling. Absolutely, two of the worst. We're an island, for God's sake. we could have had our borders closed and then literally scanned people coming in as they were coming in when they needed to. But we kept even having flights still coming in. 11 weeks was it after the outbreak?
Yeah.
How ridiculous! Places like New Zealand, the moment they got a whiff of it, the outbreak, closed their borders. While we're getting tens of thousands of cases, they had, at that point they had something ridiculous like 3 people. So they bought themselves all that time to prepare for when, of course, it's a pandemic. They were going to get it eventually, but they bought themselves all that time to prepare their medical staff and get people in place to deal with it as it started coming in. But we just had full brunt of it for a long time, and then too little, too late afterwards. I mean, people say we've dealt with things well when it sort of got hold of the country, but we shouldn't have been in that situation.
Well, look, you had in charge in America. You had Donald Trump. Swear to God.
Yeah.
His press conferences was the only thing that got me through the first press conference because they were so funny. Used to go on CNN ready at 10 o'clock at night to watch Donald Trump tell me, put bleach in your system. That will work.
Just whilst he's on the screen.
Just think, there was a time when we used to cheer him.
Mate, I thought he was fantastic. Mate, when we had him, he was the best defender in the world.
Yeah.
No joke. He was the best defender in the world. I mean, don't get me wrong. When he was at the Filth, he was good as well, unfortunately. But what he did, it will never be forgiven. But yeah, do you know what? When you talk about how bad it's got back home, if there's a lockdown, at least I'm at home. It's not like I'm stranding in another country and hotels are worry or whatever. At least if you go into another lockdown, I'm at home. And I've got my house, or my parents' house and everything. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Boo!
Just a bit of breaking news on Formula One from the Grand Prix at the weekend. Mercedes have withdrawn their appeal against the controversial finish to the title deciding Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So they're now going to go in with talks with the FIA to sort out this never happens again. So that's a bit of breaking news I'm bringing you here. Chris, it's a great comment Chris here. Says Martin Shivers worked at the asbestos company. The rare times he came into the office, he always wore his Spurs coat and proud to wear the badge. A top bloke and happy to stop and chat on the stairs.
1-0.
Yeah, Klinsmann.
There's only one Jürgen Klinsmann. There's only one Jürgen Klinsmann. You're walking along, singing a song, walking in a Klinsmann wonderland. Mate, that guy. Guy.
What a brilliant goal though too.
What he done in 1 year, it's just a shame he did. Obviously, he went to Bayern because, like Kane right now, he wanted to go and win things. And what he did, I mean, when we signed him, obviously we all remember that moment. We signed him. It was like, oh my God, Klinsmann's coming. But everyone thought, oh, the diver, oh this, oh that. And I met him a few times. Or Wednesday, I met him a few times. This was back in the day when Spurs were still training in Mill Hill. And obviously our dealers used to have like an open training session so you could go and watch them train. And Jürgen Klinsmann, bless him, with all the money he was earning, used to travel to every club he was in a Volkswagen Beetle, like an old Volkswagen Beagle. Didn't buy he might have had flashy cars, but he never used it for training or anything. He didn't believe in that kind of stuff and was just such a genuinely nice guy.
He'll always drive the Volkswagen Beetle. I remember him being on the waiting list as the moment there was news of a new model being brought out, he's straight on there.
Yeah, I think he'll get given them, funnily enough. But yeah, he do you know what he did in that year? He changed the Premier League. Like one of the big foreigners that came in, but he changed his perception, like the English perception of him. He was just like, you've seen strikers at that time have been good. The Linekers, this guy came in and was another level. Like everything about him was another level. He was unbelievable.
I think it was he spoke 5 languages fluently, if I remember rightly, and unusually he had no agent. He negotiated his contracts himself. taking a lot of the sting out of signing him as well. So, very clever man. Big uplifting figure to everywhere he went. No matter the size of the club, he made you better.
Oh, no matter where he went, he was like it. I speak to a lot of Americans about like his time as coach wasn't the greatest or anything, but he puts the spotlight on that club wherever he goes. It's like a huge pull. He is just a class act, both on the pitch and off the pitch. Really was.
I did love that top, by the way. That was one of my favourite Tottenham home kits. That one.
We just saw Nicky Barmby there, aged 11.
Oh mate, he scored. Oh, he was just fan. He just burst onto the scene, like literally burst onto the scene. He was unbelievable. I remember a stooping header he scored against Wimbledon in the FA Cup, which was just unbelievable.
I have a bit of breaking news on transfers. I've just got a text from a friend of mine. Lo Celso wants to leave the Premier League and return to his former club, Real Betis, but Tottenham are reluctant to let him leave permanent. But a loan deal could be agreed.
What's the point? Why with players like this? Go on, Cooper, you go.
I was going to say, especially now he says he wants to go. Now there's absolutely no point in trying to keep him. Sorry, go on, Brian.
No, I was about to say. I mean, this is the thing. If these kind of things are coming out, your heart's not in there. Go. Goodbye, Giola Anderton, as I call him. And just go. Listen, he's one of the players that we probably could still get quite a bit of money for. And Conte may see, okay, if I get one of those players out, which I didn't necessarily want it to do, but he'll give me quite a bit of money to play with, and we shall see. But if you want to go, mate, I don't want you at the club. You shouldn't play for the club.
Even if we got half the money back on him, that's a sizable amount of cash to go towards transfers, and a lot of wages off the book as well.
Yep.
But it's another one of those ones that just didn't work out. I totally agree with you, Brian. What is the point in him staying now? Of course, it is smacks of Levy trying to hang on to him to get like 99% of the transfer back. Well, knowing Levy trying to make £5 million profit on it.
Yeah. I mean, this is where it comes down to now. This is where we're going to see, like I said, with the players that go out, more than the players that come in, we're going to see who's running the show here. That's when we're going to see.
I mean, Carl Simpson says the other way that would happen if Betis had some quality players in return. Alexander Hilton says on foot Lamella, LOL.
Carl says salary agent.
Yeah, I'm going to read that. It's like he said, Betis haven't the money to buy him. What a mug! Great, more funds for Barella. And selling agent says he will injure himself.
I think he'd transferred his mind back to Spain about a year ago, if not more.
Sorry, go on. You go, Dermot.
I was at that game. John. I will get that. John Fitzpatrick says I was at Clinton's debut away to Watford in pre-season friendly. We'll never forget that day. I was there myself. Ended up getting a date with the girl in front of me that was sitting in front of me. She was there with her dad, and I was there with my dad. And I ended up getting a date that Saturday night with her. She was sitting in front of me. But it was a brilliant. That was brilliant that day, seeing his debut, and did a pitch invasion. I did. My dad wouldn't let me. I was eager to go. I was there with my own man, so I had to behave myself. But there was a bit. And then Carl Simpson says, I don't care who we sign. I just want players who bleed for the club. Exactly. 100%. And it's Reggie's birthday today. Well, happy birthday, Reggie. Sergio Reguilon, it's his birthday today. And salary agent said, does Reggie still have any of that goat leg left? so on to myself. Oh, Lord. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Something I was going to say earlier about this game and Darren Anderson in particular. I looked at because he was such a good player for us, as Brian was saying. His time under Jerry Francis is basically where Anderton earned his sick note nickname, because when he had a long injury layoff, and when he came back in, he would keep getting injured again and again. And I always thought this was down to Jerry Francis. He'd put him back in the team way too early. There was talk. I remember talk about Anderton still expected to be out for another 5 to 6 weeks, and then you saw him suddenly appear on the team sheet that Saturday, and you're thinking, this can't be right. How do these two things go together? And it tied in all the time with Jerry Francis pushing him too hard. So for me, I feel he actually hindered his career. I've never rated Jerry Francis anyway, because he took over a fabulously talented squad. He steadied the ship to start with, but after that, you could see the real Jerry Francis taking over, and our team just deteriorated into mid-table, absolute dire football. It was really painful to watch. But oh well, there we go. So yeah, Darren Anderson, I think he could have played a lot more games for us. So I just think he's pushed it back.
Get him off the pitch. Get him off the pitch.
Yeah, now it's boo. Oh, there you go. So, you know what I'll add on that as well, Kuba? I think a lot of it also, you've got to remember, back in those days, you didn't have the medical and sports science kind of shit that we do now. And also, you've got to remember, it wasn't just Darren Anderson. During that period, we had a lot of injuries coming all the time. And I think a lot of it had to do with the Mill Hill training facilities as well. It wasn't like what we have today. It was literally fields and a clubhouse kind of thing. And I think the pitches weren't up to par. Obviously, the training was a bit more. And you've got to remember, Darren Anderson now in this team was like one of the first names on the team sheet. Like, he had to be. So you didn't have the kind of strength in depth back then that you could say, okay, these people, okay. And he was such a vital part of what was good for us, that you just had to try and get him on the pitch. You just had to do it. But I can completely agree with what you're saying. Completely agree that I think Jerry Francis may have pushed him, because now you're just like, okay, recover properly. We'd rather miss you for 6 games that you're out, rather than bringing you back and then you're out for 4 months. So yeah, but was a great player for us and could have done so much more.
I mean, it's quite shocking that next season we bought Chris Armstrong to fill the boots of Klinsmann.
His first season when he was brilliant.
And
He
then
was
after
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, then he used to be offside more times than he scored goals.
And then we lost Teddy. Then didn't we? After 2 seasons after this, he went to Man United for his trophy. Got his trophy, and then came back to us.
Boo!
Get him out!
It's funny with Judas. Despite talking about him before we even started the game, and I knew he was playing, the moment he did turn up on the pitch, I'm thinking, who's that? Oh no, it's him.
I'll have to show you a very funny picture now. We're talking about him. I won't use the swear word. I will show it, but I won't. So let's see if you guys can see this, and people back home. Let me just go into.
Anderton was our 90s Hoddle.
Oh, that's Mark. I can see where you're coming from with that, but
I'm not too sure on that one, Mark. But good comment.
I'll probably go with it. Our 90s Waddle.
Yeah. John Fitzpatrick, back in 2002, I went to a Spurs Legends versus DC United. All the Legends played. One of my favourite nights out at White Hart Lane.
I'm going to try and show you this picture now. Now that there is a swear. Okay, I'll show it with a swear word because it doesn't matter. Let's see if you guys can see it. Okay, so.
Hang on. Let's see. Can I get you?
Right. It's a picture of Campbell. Okay, it's a picture of Campbell. I want to see because the light. Okay, the writing's in white, so it goes. Yeah. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Well, here's a C word on a hunt. I absolutely love that one. Absolutely love that one. Listen,
can you put that game back up, Cooper? Sorry, I had to take it off so he could show. Did you resume the game? You just have the screen.
There we go. You know what? Cole's just come up with the very last comment there, Dermot, is the absolute where Spurs have a history of applying players who never live up to the players that they've been bought to replace because we try. There we go. A nice deflected goal.
Yeah. Is that Klinsmann again?
No,
No,
it's
it was
it's Shaggy.
down that. Yeah, Shaggy. Yeah. He used to go to a local nightclub in St Albans years ago called Batchwood.
Oh mate, I spent my life in Batchwoods.
Yeah, it was a great
Batchwoods was
nightclub, wasn't it?
Oh mate, it was banging. But
It was.
unfortunately, it burned down, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Well, we used to go to a nightclub I used to go one called, there used to be one in St Albans over a Greek restaurant. It was the cheap one to go in. It was near where McDonald's was. Or what's the name of it? Oh, I met my ex-wife in there actually. It was a cheap nightclub, but Batchwood was brilliant. Batchwood was absolutely brilliant.
Do you know what? Batchwood, when we used to go, and I won't play this song anymore, but I love my drum and bass and I love my R&B, and I don't listen to this guy's music anymore, but they used to play during the drum and bass section the helicopter tune for people that know drum and bass, but they played over the top of it R. Kelly, Your Body's Calling Me.
Yeah.
And it was the most phenomenal mix that I'd ever heard, and I was trying to find this track everywhere, and could never ever find it, only at Batchwoods. But now I don't listen to R. Kelly for obvious reasons, so which is a pain in the ass because some of his songs are brilliant, but I won't listen to them anymore. But yeah, Batchwoods was banging. Then you go up to the 70s room. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I tell you, Batchwood was.
I actually spent the millennium New Year's Eve 1999 in Batchwoods.
Did you?
Yeah.
It
was £75 ticket.
That's right.
Unlimited alcohol. I was like,
that's it.
Okay, well, I would easily have drunk more than £75. I was like, done deal.
Yeah, it was great. They were great. I can't remember the name of the club that was in St Albans. Oh, what was its name? It will come to me. It was a dingy little nightclub. It had down the bottom all the head banging stuff, and up it had upstairs at 70s and 80s disco, and that was just brilliant.
What kind of nostalgia show is this?
Oh mate, but you're talking about nightclubs. No club could. And if people are in the chat who used to live near me in North London, you could not beat a bit of Eros. Eros was the place to be.
John Fitzpatrick, Alison, Brian, were you at the cup final in '99?
When we beat Leicester, I had a ticket for it, but the day or two before it, a very, very close friend of mine died. So this guy, he was actually born. He's one of the very, very few people in the world that was born with his heart on the other side of his body. So he could never have an operation because all of the parts of the body would have been the other way round. So he was only meant to live till he was about 6 or 7, but he managed to live till 19. And unfortunately, he died 2 days before this. So I was going to go, but unfortunately, because of that, I didn't.
Sad. Very, very sad. What's your thoughts on Tottenham's performance, Cooper, down the bottom? Good start, isn't it? 2-0 up.
Yes, it's very competitive, isn't it? Midfield tackles really flying in right from the start.
Are we playing 5 at the back?
I think we are.
I think that was the. I think this one thing Jerry did do. He did used to. He wasn't rigid and said, right, this is our formation. He and when you had Shearer and Sutton, you needed to make sure you had that extra cover. I mean, what you look at this team now. This Blackburn team were flying, and this was the original. I'm going to bias the league team in England, but what happened with them? If you look at the Jack Walker story, God bless Jack Walker. He loved Blackburn. He said one of my dying wishes is to see Blackburn win the league, and he put his money where his mouth is. No loans or anything. It was all his cash, and he did it. And Blackburn this season, especially at this time in February, were on another planet. They were on another planet. They stumbled a bit to get it over the line, but at this time, they were absolutely flying, and we're dominating here at the moment. Well, we were dominating.
I'm trying to work out who's playing right back for us, whether it's Judas
Campbell.
or whether
it's Campbell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've seen him over there a bit of the time, but always thought Gary Mabbutt's one of those players that fills in anywhere and as well. So it could easily have been in. I think it's a back four, but there's Popescu just sitting in just ahead of them, isn't it? So it's kind of a back five, if you like.
Apparently, I'm hearing somewhere along the line where somebody's just texting me that Son's got COVID. Son's one of the people that got COVID. Now, I don't know how true that is. And somebody else, I've actually just gone on to Twitter. Somebody says, I heard Son won't be playing due to illness. And we are Tottenham TV. Big up Ben and Sim. Everyone, please get over to Ben and Sim. We are Tottenham TV. Brilliant, brilliant lads. Said it would be nice to have some clarity before we all start travelling up there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's what we were saying. This is what's absolutely disgusting. I mean, you kind of the Burnley game that we had called off because of the snow. You can kind of understand because it snowed overnight, and you don't know what it's like on the ground and if the undersoil, whatever. That you can kind of understand. But for what is going on, like we said at the beginning, for people travelling the length and breadth of the country, there should be more. There's got to be a deadline. Like you know, when you sign a player, you've got to sign him. So why can they not have something during this pandemic where you need? I know things could get worse by the hour, but if it's like the night of the game, or sorry, the night before the game, or before the away team says they're going to travel up to the club, wherever it may be, say is this game going on or not? Don't play it to risk. If a team has cases rising, then call it off. Save the fans from when Spurs travel to whatever ground they do, those players go in a very, very luxurious coach or go on a private jet, and they're with themselves. But the thousands of fans, I'm not just talking Spurs fans, I'm talking fans of English clubs, that they are travelling at Christmas time or any time of the year. They put their they put their life on hold and make plans for this time period, how long it's going to travel, the game. And it's not fair to these people and their families that are travelling when they're like, right, he's off to football, so we can't do this, or she's off to football. There's got to be some kind of clarity. There's got to.
There has to be. I think the Premier League are painting themselves into a very bad picture here. It seems to be it's money, like we were saying about Levy, profit before glory. It seems to be the Premier League seems to be profit before health.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
It's exactly what it is.
I think it's disgusting, and I think it's diabolical. I mean, Hoover, what's your thoughts on it? I just said, I don't know if you heard, but I just said to Brian, I said, like, you got the ENIC profit before glory. This seems to be profit before health.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I'm trying to keep on top of this breaking story as much as I can, draw my usual sources and checking Twitter and Sky Sports news for the latest updates. So I'm trying my best to keep on top of everything to let anyone know as soon as I hear anything to save anyone from travelling. But I mean, it's like Carl Simpson says here. I bet it gets. I get it gets postponed today. There are rumours Leicester has more positives.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying earlier, I would actively advise people if they're liable to spend a lot of money on travel to get to the game or a lot of time, really think twice about it at the moment because it could be just called off like that. It's
Matt Law is just. I've just got a message to a WhatsApp group. I mean, has just tweeted that the game tonight is likely to be postponed. And George Bannister has just put up at 12:04. Very unlikely this game goes ahead now.
Mm-hmm.
So
you look at it, Dermot, and if it does go ahead, now there's fans that might have said, "I'm not going" because of all this. It's like now, look at it. It's now what 12 o'clock where you are. The game's at what 7 o'clock. Leicester is still an hour and a half travel, or 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending how fast you drive or what the traffic's like. People have got to decide if they're leaving work, or people have got to decide, do I get this train? Are the trains going to be delayed? But then what you've got to think as well is these fans, not just for Tottenham that are going everywhere, this is Christmas time where a lot of people will be wanting to spend time with their families. For the last couple of Christmases, they haven't been able to for whatever because of COVID. Don't put these fans at risk where they're going to be socialising with their families, and then if they catch it's getting silly now. Or do you know what they should do as well? If they do it, only have a section now where it's only home fans allowed. Because then away teams, all right, you have no supporters and it's going to be quiet for you, but at least you can monitor what's going on with your own club. And you're not having all. I mean, can you imagine today if the game was at Newcastle and people are up there and spent the night at the hotel beforehand? It's like they need to get on top of this. Maybe if they make it, I mean, I don't know what people in the chat think as well. Maybe if they just do it for a while until they can get this under control, whatever, like especially over the Christmas period, just say home fans only.
It's something. It is breaking news. Leicester versus Tottenham is in serious doubt to go ahead tonight. So I'm keeping up to date. And then I've just got a text from a source from within Tottenham saying that Leicester Tottenham is set to be postponed. Now that's from the source. So we're now looking at probably 80-20. This game will be called off tonight. So that's the latest breaking news I can give you.
So then that'll probably put Liverpool in doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and also what I'm hearing as well from a source from another source that's linked, that he knows somebody within the Premier League, there's likely to be a Premier League emergency meeting within the next 24 to 48 hours to discuss what the Premier League are going to do with this, and also have a link. I think they're also going to have a meeting with the government as well, with the Minister for Sport, what's going to happen. So that's breaking. Leicester Tottenham is 80% now going to be called off. It's going to be postponed. That's what we're hearing. So we will keep you up to date. I'm sorry we're not talking about the match, but watching. I hope you're enjoying it, as we all are. But I think people need to be kept up to date what is happening with tonight's match, and also if you are travelling, seriously consider it. I wouldn't travel, even if I had a ticket. I wouldn't travel. It's not worth it to get all the way up there just to go all the way back again. It's just for safety reasons. I wouldn't do it.
As for talking about the match, I think that was kind of the plan with our morning shows, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was just a nice bit of viewing in the background while we're talking about more current things.
Yeah.
So
I've got some. Right, where are we? Okay, I'm trying to catch up where we were in the. Okay, my cousin says that there we did that one. And then Jumper Patrick is asking, how much was your ticket, Mark? And then Carl Simpson says, I bet it gets postponed today. Yeah, we read that one. I agree, Brian. It's all about the welfare of I agree. It's about the welfare of the fans. It just isn't worth it. I mean, what do you say, Brian and then Coover?
So yeah, Joe, I'll let Coover go on this one because I want to talk about what Mark says on the next comment. So, okay, Coover, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, we're all agreed on this, mate. It's about the fans first and foremost, because the players have got their own little bubble sort of protecting them. But get all the fans together from all over the place, mass crowd. You're spreading the virus very quickly like that.
Sorry, Coover. Breaking news. I've just got it confirmed by a source at Tottenham. Leicester versus Spurs is off. Leicester against Tottenham is now being called this evening has been postponed. So anyone please go into the game. Don't go. The game tonight against Leicester has been called off. Sorry, Coover, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's no problem. I don't think anybody's surprised by it though, are
they? That's now just broke on Sky Sports, and it also will be breaking on the Spurs web. But he just texted me within 2 seconds of it breaking on Sky News. So that's why I had to get in there quick. I wanted us to be the first to the breaking news tonight.
The nostalgia show with the cutting breaking news headlines.
We should have something come up like breaking news at the bottom of the screen. We should do breaking news from like 1977 and things.
Yeah.
Breaking news, Tottenham have got relegated. Let's start a riot. Right, go on, people. Sorry, man.
No,
I
no,
didn't want to-
I'm done with that point. Let's hear what Brian wanted to say on the. It was
Yeah,
Mark.
just on Mark's on the about him living
Oh, the-
150 about the home
yeah,
when I said
I'll
about home
bring that
fans
up.
only. So the reason I want to talk about Mark, I get that there are Spurs fans that live all across the country, but I get that. So if you want to go to a home game and you're a Spurs supporter, you know the documents you need to take, you know everything, and that's your choice to go. If it's hard, but what I'm trying to say is like loads of fans that are travelling like to Newcastle, like to Leicester, that have booked to go that far and then get it called off. It's all that. I know for you it's 150 miles away, but if you go, that's your choice. If you think, okay, I want to go to Spurs, I'm going. I'm a Spurs fan, but to you are always going to travel that far and then travel back. That doesn't change things. But when you're going to these away games and you're shelling out, maybe staying over or travel, I just think that it may be a way to at least limit the fans from catching it and helping with this. That's what I was trying to get at, but hopefully this Premier League meeting goes ahead because they can't. You know what? On off, on off. I mean, you look at it now. Not that it matters. We currently have 3 games in hand on Arsenal. Forget the points or where it goes. We've got to catch these games, and now that these games are going to have to be like squeezed in, it's going to be of no benefit to us because we're just later on in the season. We're just putting these. All right, the Christmas season is drooling, but now it's going to happen to us. What? Who knows? Who knows? And this again, this I'm coming back to England, obviously, as you know, today and everything. Like you said at the beginning, it just goes to show how bad England's being run at the moment. There's no, there's no like you look at places like I mean Canada have had a good track record with it. I mean the numbers have been, I don't even know now, but they're going up. But obviously they had it monitored a lot better than America. Everything was done. But then you look at places like Celery Agent and John Fitzpatrick in Australia that dealt with it. All right, it's worse now. But at the beginning, England have just let it just there you go, just come in, just do this, just do that. Kind of like I don't want to get political, but obviously when we opened up to Euros and loads of people came into the country, and it doesn't matter where you're from, it was like this country can't handle. Well, when I say to people to try and get what I'm saying, Canada, England can fit into Canada 40 times. That's just England. Actually, it's more than 40, but England has over 27 million more people than Canada. And you think how crowded England is. We need to get a hold of this as a world, a world, but the nation is just so far behind. And then obviously we've got those Boris videos last Christmas and all that and everything. It's this country. There's people that think they're above just because they're rich or whatever, or politicians. They think they're above the British public or get the world, thinking because we're politicians and because we're rich, we can do this and we'll just chuck money. No, you're dealing with people with with serious ramifications on this pandemic, and the whole world needs to get a hold of it before we go into another huge lockdown. And this time, if we do go into a lockdown, what they should just do is right. The borders are closed around the world for 4 or 5 months, whatever. Nothing is coming in, nothing is coming out, and we get a handle on this. Not just it looks a little bit better now. Let's open it up because we need money. Close the borders for the world, and I mean the whole world, for 5-6 months, and deal with it.
Yeah.
And I need a cigarette after that, so I'll be back in a second.
Okay. I just want.
I think
just
I
very
need
quickly-
one, and I gave up 20 years ago.
Same here. I mean, I want your response to this before you go, Brian. Alexander Hilton put so Boris and Levy will be in the meeting. Would like to see that.
Well, do you know what? And I'm going to be a little bit light-hearted, so don't take what I'm saying seriously.
Yeah.
Every time that Levy out stuff starts getting serious, something happens. Like, do you remember before the first lockdown of football, the last game we played was Burnley 1-1?
That's right.
And there was going to be a huge, of all people, to score him. So it's an own goal. Tim Sherwood own goal. So
Very good own goal.
So what was I? So
before
that
the
Burnley game,
yeah,
the pandemic came, lockdown. It's like Daniel Levy, the thing's gone off for you. Then obviously the Super League and everything, but it was still in a lockdown, so nothing major happened. And now the heat's on him again, and this is happening. And it's like, could you think of two worse people to have in a meeting? You know, Daniel Levy could easily manipulate Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Easy. But like I said, the recording, it would be like an Only Fools and Horses sketch with Trigger. It's Trigger and Del Boy having a conversation, basically. But yeah, I shall be back in 2 seconds. And boo, boo,
get him off
boo.
the pitch.
I'll be back in 2 secs.
Oh god, why do we have to watch Judas? Seriously.
Because it's a good game. Other than that,
Yeah. Right. It is actually. I would say for that. Right. So that's that. Carl Simpson says, "Don't worry about the match. I just really enjoyed the chat. Thank you very much, Carl. That's very kind." Here in Australia, the numbers are doubling by the day. We're at a record high. Oh shit! Doesn't sound too good, does it, Cooper?
well, it's going to catch up with the likes of Australia and New Zealand anyway.
Yeah.
What they did was buy themselves a lot of time at the beginning by having a swift lockdown, which was sensible. But it's one of those. It's a pandemic. You can't avoid it forever, unfortunately.
Right.
Hopefully, things are in place to deal with it there, though.
Yeah. Can you cheer up Silly Agent with something good? No Tottenham at Christmas. Well, come here and you'll find all the Tottenham you want. Isn't that right, Cooper?
That's right. Well, perhaps we'll get a few more people coming on from chat as well. Then, we'll get some guests on to talk about sort of favourite games, things like that.
Yeah,
that'll be a good one.
Yeah, but if you, we're here for your Tottenham fix, so don't worry about that. We've got Carl Simpson. On another note, did you see Rennes refused off playing the last group game match in France? They still reject it now. UEFA are pissed with them.
Yeah. It's
will Rennes now? Would they now? I don't know what UEFA would do, to be honest with you.
I think, well, if they got any sense, UEFA will just say, "Here's the date you're playing." They'll look at both teams' sets of fixtures and find something that's fair to both sides to play in the middle of those sort of fixtures and just do it, because at the end of the day, it's a COVID-related postponement. I mean, we're following rules, so it seems doesn't seem fair if we get punished for it.
No,
but I mean, plus of course, Rennes, well, they're bloody French anyway, so who cares about them?
Who cares about the French?
Sorry, I'm English. I'm supposed to resent the French.
I'm Irish, and we've got very resentment from most countries. We're a free nation.
Celery agent. 70% of Canada is moose.
What's that for? Boo! 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 Get him off the screen. Thank you. That's great. I'm continuing for Brian. Brian's not here, so I'm doing his booing for.
Yeah, I'm just glad I haven't had my breakfast yet.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just apologise also for Cooper for cutting off half your face when I'm bringing up the comments, Cooper? I do apologise.
Well, I can always change that. There we go. I swap with Brian while he's having a cigarette.
Yeah. Last Christmas, my missus got me that Spurs joke jersey with Klinsmann 18 on the back. It's a pride and joy of my favourite Spurs kits of all time. Yeah, I love that kit. I really did. I agree with you, John Fitzpatrick. John, just let me know, John, where did you live? Did you live in Hertfordshire, in Watford, or St Albans? Just to let me know where you are, because I swear I recognise the name. I don't know, but just let me know where you used to live. And my cousin said, I went to Spurs Everton and was in the ball. No, hang on. I went to Spurs Everton. I was in the ball, the Bell and Hare, and on Football Focus the game was called off. Not a complete waste of time because my local team were in Basingstoke, so was on that way home.
Oh, hang on. Can we hold that there for just a second? I can do that sort of Chad thing. No, the comment.
Okay.
Yeah, can hold that there for a second, and I can do that. It's a Chad, wasn't it called? Look, what no Spurs.
Yeah.
Never mind. It was a
Right.
bad
I'll
joke.
tell you what, Cougar, you doing that?
I
just
knew what
remi-
you were getting at. I was just I was trying to watch you in the bottom screen what you were doing so I could understand.
You just reminded me. Have you seen on YouTube Rafa Benitez Magic Man?
No.
If everyone goes on YouTube after this, there's a time, when they said the manager's name, like on Sky Sports, they bring it up, and Rafa Benitez actually went like this at the very second they brought it up. So he went like that, and literally just type in Rafa Benitez Magic Man. It's unbelievable.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm not laughing at you. I've just seen a comment and it's really tickled me.
I know which one you're talking about.
I just think it's brilliant. I've got to bring it up. No, that one. My 88-year-old dad,
Could manipulate Wayne Rooney as well.
Wayne Rooney would get a hard. Wayne Rooney would get a hard on if he saw an 80-year-old woman. Honestly, oh Jesus! Just very quickly, I feel so sorry for his wife. I mean, that woman is an absolute. She's what she's had to put up with. She's a saint, that woman.
The fact that she's fathered 2 kids.
Huh?
The fact that he's had 2 kids with her.
Yeah.
That deserves.
They've got 4 now.
4.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So Colleen, isn't it? Colleen.
Who knows?
Yeah, but I'll big up to her. I mean, yeah. That's brilliant, Carl Simpson. That's comment of the day. That is comment of the stream. That's brilliant. John Fitzpatrick. I live in Wexford, John. Moved back home 7-8 years ago now. No. Yeah, 7-8 years ago I moved back home. So
no, sorry, yeah. my geography of Ireland isn't the best. Is Wexford a republic or is it northern?
No, republic. We're the sunny southeast.
Okay.
We're it's supposed to be sunny southeast. Not always, but yeah, we're down. We're in the good part of Ireland. But my mother was from the north. My adopted mother was from the north, and my father was from Mayo, so I had a good mixture. So that was fun. My mother was a Protestant, and my dad was a Catholic. So it was some good crack some days. Alexander Hilton said the French are farmers' league anywhere. I agree with you. I lived in Camden Road, North London, down there. I probably met you at Tottenham, John. We probably bumped into each other at one of the pubs before going to a match. Alexander has seen it. Carl Simpson, don't think she has it in her anymore.
Oh dear.
Well, we're getting off this subject immediately because now we've got innuendo coming in.
Mate, that's like Christmas cracker joke worthy.
Yeah. John Fitzpatrick says East Coast, and he also says I'm from Limerick West is the best. Ooh, John.
That reminds me of Ali G, the Ali G movie.
You're pushing your
Which
lock down,
side is the best?
Nothing wrong with Wexford, man. Limerick's nice, but Wexford's the best. Wexford is the best. And Celery Agent says Hertfordshire boy. Where in Hertfordshire, Celery Agent? Where in Hertfordshire? Let me know.
Cock Foster's Hertfordshire is where I'm heading.
Where
I'm heading. Yeah.
There was some. When I was adopted as a baby, I lived with a foster mother, and she lived in Cock Fosters.
There you go. I love Cock. Do you know what? I love Cock Fosters. Yeah. I absolutely love Cock Fosters.
I actually just to clear it all up. I actually was born in Tottenham in North Middlesex Hospital, but due to my parents being Irish, I'm automatically an Irish citizen. And I had the choice very early. Did I want to be a full Irish citizen or dual? I could take dual citizenship, and I went for full Irish citizenship. So, but I was actually born in North Midlands. I was actually born on the day we lost to Leeds away 2-1. So we got relegated. What a goal!
That man, just like the Everton game, the stuff that this guy could do. The stuff, honestly. I mean, I remember a goal he scored in Euro '96 for Germany outstep of his foot outside the area.
Look
Just
at that. That's just
the technique this man had is just look at it. Other people would chest that down and volley it, or try to dive in header or whatever. He's like, nope, I'll get best cut. The thought process that goes in here to try and pull that off and then execute it is just insane.
Celery Agent Shaftesbury Road. I was born in Watford. I actually know it. It's Celery Agent. Carl Simpson says, "This one's for you, Cooper." I'll let you read this out.
Yeah. Every time I look at the match, it's always Judas on the screen. Yeah, it seems to be, doesn't it? They keep doing close-ups on him as well, make it even worse.
Oh no. Celery Agent says, "My great grandfather and 13 children were all from Edmonton." Wow, 30. There was 13 in my dad's family as well. Big families here in Ireland. And then John Fitzpatrick, back in 2002, I was work building Paul Robbo's house near Cockfosters.
Yeah, he lived down there. I mean, where that would have been Hadley Wood, which is a very, very exclusive, very, very, like, those houses are no joke. It's about a 5-minute walk from my parents' house. That area is just it's beautiful.
Very expensive. We did a job there with my dad years ago, and we actually, who lived down the road where we were building this house was actually Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, he lives on Beach Hill.
Yeah, and we used to see him every day, going out in his convertible, whatever car he had. I can't remember what convertible it was, but he stopped one day asking what was happening, and we were talking to him. What a lovely man!
That's why he's my favourite goalkeeper. I love Robbo.
Yeah. Absolutely, I'll tell you, Lennox Lewis was an absolute perfect gentleman. Not big-headed or anything. Absolute perfect gentleman, I have to say.
So I had a mate that used to work in Cockfosters Blockbuster Videos on the parade, and he used to come in regularly, and I liked chill with my mate there, and literally he really was. But the only time he was, I wouldn't say mean or anything, is if you saw him out on a run and he had his entourage with him, don't stop him, because he will say, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" But apart from that, genuinely, he is a fantastic dude.
Yeah.
Edgar Davids was living there as well. Edgar Davids went into a coffee shop when I was there, and to say I was a little bit starstruck, because that man, Jesus Christ.
Darren Antonin used to go to that Batford nightclub, and he went up to a girl and he went, "You know who I am?" She said, "No, who are you?" He went, "I'm Darren Antonin, and I play for Tottenham." She went, "I don't give a toss," and walked off.
I mean, I tell you what, I saw in Eros, Frank Lampard used to go in there. Everson went in there quite a bit. And we were talking about what I did for the Millennium, but so I worked for Cecil G. I think they're still going, but if people remember Cecil G, it was part of the Moss Bros group, and a few doors down was Savoy Tailors Guild, which is also owned by Moss Bros. They had a hire department, and one of my mates called me. They're about 3 doors apart. Called me in and said, "Brian, get down to the hire department." It was Anderton and Genola. They were getting their tuxedos rented for their Christmas party. Jesus. And it was just like, oh my God. It's incredible.
I have to say, I really feel sorry for the likes of, I mean, David, if you're watching, pop on. I will put the link for the chat in the comments. I'd love to get your thoughts on why the debate game's curtain off. It is. I'll just repeat. The Premier League match tonight against Leicester has been called off due to COVID. Very quickly, Cooper, what do you say to Mark Cousins? Gazza's is in pool now. Is that far from you?
Yeah, it's quite close. It's about sort of 35 minutes, 40 minutes from me.
Maybe get Gazza on the show one morning to surprise everyone.
Oh, I'd love to. Absolutely love the bloke.
We'd get him on them for Brian, you and Brian, and watch Brian faint to see Gazza on the screen.
We'll just turn up with a laptop, a couple of mobile phones. Gazza, you got half an hour for us. Tottenham Tantrum and Tottenham on tour special.
Yeah. So it's Tommy's dream from Tommy Talks Ball to get Gazza on, and he's saying that all my super chats I'm putting towards if I have to pay to get Gazza on, I get Gazza on. I was like, and I spoke to Tommy. I was like, if you get Gazza on the show and you do not invite me, I will fly back to London to kill you. And I said, I'm not
Well,
joking. I will come back and I will kill. I'll do the Liam Neeson Taken. I don't know who you are and I don't know where you live, but I have a special set of skills. So Tommy knows that.
if we do get Gazza wrong, we'll do it as a joint link for Tottenham on tour and us. There you go, Brian.
There you go. There you go.
Mark, if you do see Gazza, do tell him about our channel. Just your mission, if you choose to accept it, Mark Cousins, is to go and find Gazza and tell him about Tottenham Tantrum Goal and Tottenham on tour, and see can we get him on.
I think.
Feels like mission,
sorry.
it feels like Mission Impossible. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was going to say Paul Gascoigne. He's also one of those players that ties in with the whole mental health issue as well in blokes, because as I know Brian's heavily involved in this as well. We're looking at doing another. It's going to be on Tottenham on tour, doing another health special.
Yeah, so I'll go into a bit on that. So basically, we did one on our old channel, Tottenham Away, and we did it on May the 4th, which was Mental Health Week here in Canada. I don't know if it's worldwide actually, but it certainly was here. And it was we had myself, Brian Ireland, we had Daniel Wynn, almost said Daniel Levy. That would have been a different mental health show. We had Daniel Wynn, who people remember used to be the old commentator for Tottenham TV. Like, not We Are Tottenham, the official Spurs commentator. But he's now doing some other work within the club. We had Tommy on as well. We had Sean Wellborn, who's a member of Toronto Spurs and is also in the mental health profession here. And we had Kenny Ken from Arsenal Fan TV. And Kenny Ken came on. The reason it was meant to be Claude, but obviously, unfortunately, I was talking with Claude to do this, but then Claude, unfortunately, may he rest in peace, obviously. So we did that show, and it was an incredible show. And we've wanted to make it a regular thing, but obviously with everything going on, we haven't had it. But we've said that we're going to do one in January. Dates to be confirmed, obviously, with me being in England and when I fly back. But Sean Wellborn's going to be back on it. We've also got someone by the name of Tara, I can't remember her surname, Tara Hancock. And what she is the CEO and founder of a charity called Sport Against Suicide. And she actually goes into football clubs. Like last week or the week before, she was with Wayne Rooney and all the Derby players and all the Derby setup to talk about. So she's got a lot of information and a lot of stuff she can talk about. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have people coming on that we know that have been struggling with mental health, just to come on and tell their story or to talk about it. But rather than getting like 10 people on a stream, we're going to bring 3 on at a time, talk to them, and then when they finish, we'll bring them on. And then if anyone else in the chat wants to come in, obviously it's a hard thing to talk about, you don't need to, but we're going to be putting up resources for both Canada and England where people can get help. And also it's why we're on the huge push to get Tottenham on tour over 1,000. So then we're monetized, because it's not because we want the money and we can't wait. What we want to do is we're going to donate every single super chat to a mental health charity here in Toronto and also to Tara's charity. So as many super chats as we can get in, obviously, if we're at the 1,000. But it's going to be we're putting a lot of time and effort in there. It's going to be structured. It's going to be very, very in depth, and we're very proud of what we're doing at Tottenham on Tour for mental health. I've suffered with it. I still suffer with it a lot, but it's just great that now, if you think about it, during this time, there has been a huge platform that we've used, thankfully, to actually have these discussions. And I know for a fact, not just from what we did on Tottenham on Tour, but that stream on Collins, on Tommy, on Talk and Ball 1 was a great show. And David Harris did a great show a few weeks ago where everyone was talking about it. It wasn't a fan show, but everyone came on and spoke about it. And it's just great that in our community, and as you guys know, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes on WhatsApp or phone calls or whatever to support each other. Dermot's part of a group that I created with Mr. K, which is really, really beneficial. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing that show, but times and dates and everything to be put out as soon as we know ourselves.
Trevor, do you want to say anything?
No, it's just sort of, well, yes and no. Brian's quite right. Everything he was saying there, it's such a big issue nowadays, and it's so brilliant that we've got people now talking on the platform we've been given in YouTube. I mean, what a fantastic place this has become for so many of us lately, especially during the pandemic as well, with a lot of people in isolation. There's people reaching out to other people when they wouldn't have normally. Just recently, one of our own, as well as Bob having trouble with COVID. There was another one of our own having a really rough time, and luckily he sort of reached out. I managed to do what I could, talking to him to start with, and Brian very, very kindly took over and helped the chap to get a little bit of help, pointing in the right directions, and he's actually got himself some help now, and hopefully he's on the recovery. But few years back we wouldn't have had that. We've all been sat there doing our own thing, and people suffering in silence. If we can break that habit and realise there is always somebody there, if you just have just a bit of courage to reach out, just to anybody, just to talk, you can find you can get some sort of help, or you can just have somebody to listen to you. Makes a big difference as well. Never have to feel you're alone. So we're all in big support of the mental health issues as well. I think we're gonna do something to try and support Brian's show when it comes up. We're gonna make sure that we do a big build up to it in a week. Make sure it gets as much coverage as it deserves.
And also, we're going to do something as well, aren't we? We're not doing actually on mental health, but we're actually going to do on. There's a lot of players that have got dementia and Alzheimer's from the old days, and we've been talking about this, haven't we, for sort of on and off a little bit, about doing a show, about why the PFA, that the PFA and the FA should do more for players. I mean, you had the likes of Bobby Charlton, Dennis Law, Big Jack, who was brilliant for us, back in the 80s and 90s. If you ever want to watch a thing, is Jack Charlton's film. Absolutely brilliant. It actually shows what it's like for the families. It's not just the person, it's the families and everything that have to live with the person, and why there is no support there. And I think the PFA and the FA should do more for these older players.
There's also an Alan Shearer one from a few years ago, which was great. And do you know what? I think it's great what you're doing. And obviously, I watched that Jack Charlton one, but it's very, very hard for me because my grandma died because of dementia. So I saw it very, very close and first hand. And you know what? This disease is such a. Do you know what? I hate this disease more than life itself, because you spend a lifetime building memories just to lose them. And what's amazing about this disease, and I don't mean amazing in a good way, is my grandma couldn't remember what she had for breakfast or lunch or what she did 10 minutes ago, but she remembers 60 years ago. So there's something in the brain where obviously it's just crazy how. But yeah, if you need some support when you do it, the dementia one, and you want people that have lived through it to talk, please call on me, because it'll be a pleasure to come on your show.
I'm also going to be trying to put a bit of information together about signs to watch for when it starts happening, because this is something that happens to people earlier in life than you'd think, and it gets progressively worse. My mum's on her way out now. Bless her, she's 90 now, She's heavily she's got very well advanced dementia, but I've seen it all exactly as Brian's saying. The most notable things are short-term memory. Her short-term memory is that of a goldfish. She can't remember the start of a sentence when I'm talking to her, but she remembers crystal clear things from her childhood, even tiny little things.
Yep.
It's a very cruel disease because you start losing the person you know, but it's still the person you love, and they keep reminding you every now and then. There will be memories come back, or they'll be their old selves for a little while, and it keeps you going. Especially for me with my mum, I've noticed. Some days she just comes out with a little comment I wasn't expecting. I was like, yeah, there's my mum still there, but it's very hard at the time. Me myself, I haven't actually told anybody this yet, but when I was looking for a game to show this morning, I stumbled across Spurs versus Leeds, giving them a good 4-0 thumping. Teddy Sheringham hat-trick, and I thought
That's the header he scored. That's the header I was talking about.
And I thought, that'll be great. That was something to talk about. And then I was browsing through our videos that we'd done, and I suddenly noticed Tottenham 4, Leeds 0. We'd already done it. I couldn't remember.
Oh no, it was Norwich. It was Norwich. He scored the header. It was Norwich. He scored the header. We beat them 5-0.
I noticed we'd done the Leeds 4, Tottenham 4, Leeds 0. We'd done it, and I couldn't remember doing it, and it just really hit me this morning.
I forget things too, Cooper. I mean, I go out shopping. I'm a devil for forgetting stuff. I try to do things without a list, and I have to go out 3 or 4 times because I keep forgetting to give the stuff what I went out for in the first place. So I end up coming back with a load of stuff I shouldn't have got instead of the stuff I should have got. So to me, it happens to all of us. But it was more like the old players and why the PFA and the FA are not doing enough for them, because you've got the likes of Bobby Charlton, the likes of Dennis Law as well. Recently, said he had it. And it's also to make awareness for any of the families that are suffering through it as well. So I think that needs awareness. And also, I think another thing that's close to my heart, as many of you well know, it was my daughter's birthday anniversary a few days ago. And I just want to say thank you for all the kind words and messages I got from some people. And thanks to you and Brian as well. Toby, you've been a star the last few days, as well as Phil Latiz. But about Down syndrome, and I think there should be a lot more done about that as well. I mean, there should be a lot more things put in place for parents and families, and I think there has to be a lot more. That's something that we're going to do in next year. But
it needs to be done, and like Cooper was saying just before about memories that they can remember. I can remember when my grandma was in the home that she was in before she got rushed to the hospital and passed away. You talk about memories like that. My grandma loved music back in the day. I mean, she's my obsession with Gaza. It was her obsession with Frank Sinatra. When I mean she had everything, I mean everything of him. I learned to dance with my grandma to Frank Sinatra. I now love Frank Sinatra because of my grandma. But when she was in her home, they used to bring in a musician and whatever and play the music from their generation. Couldn't remember what she had for breakfast. Couldn't remember what she had for lunch. If you put on a Frank Sinatra or he played a Frank Sinatra song, my grandma would sing at the top of her voice the Frank Sinatra song, word for word, perfect. And it was just like Cooper said, it was like, yeah, she's still there. She's still there, because that's basically what the illness does to you. I mean, obviously cancer is horrible and all that, but people, until it's near the end, they still have their memory. They still, but this is just when you go in and you hear your grandma not know your name, or not recognise you, or even your parent, like for my mum, it's horrible. It's awful.
Cooper, Alexander Hilton said, can hear some background audio in the game.
It's definitely muted. Unless it's coming from one of us, I don't know.
Let us know where you can hear the some background audio. Alexander Hilton, if you can, let us know. Carl Simpson says here, having lived with dementia directly in my granddad, To watch him lose his mind and deteriorate right in front of my eyes was not easy.
Yep.
No, I wouldn't say it wasn't easy, Carl Simpson. And there's always says Carl Simpson was a Perry Como. Just
Yep.
remember it right to the end. Yeah. But I was just thinking the other day, lads, just changing the subject completely and up the mood a bit. Do all the kids look forward to Father Christmas coming and everything. I just look forward to Mrs. Santa coming. I don't know if you two think the same.
Do you know what?
Cooper?
Being Jewish, obviously, we don't celebrate. Like, we have a Christmas
No.
tree in our house or whatever. But what we always do is the family get together on Christmas Day because everything closes down. Everyone's got the day off. We can't really do it on Hanukkah because obviously England doesn't close down, and it's like you can't spend the whole day together. I love Christmas. And do you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the one thing I will say. Christmas in Canada is great, but it's nothing like England. Because in England, it's like the pubs are, you got that Christmas feel that you just were with every single time. Here, I'm sure for Christians and people that follow it's just not as big here as it is, or in my eyes. Canadians, like if Catman Jess was in here right now, I'm sure they'd say something different. But it's just, I think it's from growing up from home and you're used to the traditions and the way it is. But I always look forward to Christmas. But right now, you look at it, for a lot of people, you've got to remember Christmas right now. You always remember, if anything bad's happened the previous or the year leading up to it, it kind of rears its ugly head in a bad way at Christmas because you're meant to be jolly and happy, but you realise, I think since the pandemic, Christmas has lost a bit of its oomph, only because obviously families have been in lockdown and things like that. But I love Christmas time in England.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was. It was
I
always
think
one
I
of
know.
the.
I
It's
think
the
I know.
hiss.
Yeah, it's coming from a laptop because the fan's going.
Yep.
So
Oh,
sorry
there's that
about
goal.
that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
How about that for a header?
Yeah. I will get back to you, John Fitzpatrick. It's just that Carl Simpson. I think it's brilliant. He says, "I've been married for 10 years, so I would be grateful for any woman."
You got to love. I have to say something about this goal. Darren Anderton could find Shergar. That's how good he is at crossing that, finding people. Look at it. It doesn't. It's like bang. There you go. Right on the
I
edge.
love,
No
I
backing.
love, I love Clinton's celebration. He just drops to his knees with his hands
Yep.
in his air. I mean, you watch him now in a minute. Anyway.
He did that in a game against Newcastle as well. And I remember I was actually at the game. I was at the Everton game, but then we played Man U at home. We lost 1-0, but he scored a goal that should have stood. He weren't offside, and he did that right in front of the Paxton. He loved doing that. His emotions were so pure.
Yeah, I do apologise. I don't know where it's coming from, Celery Agent and Alex Hinton. I will try to sort that out for the next stream. So I do apologise. Johnson's Patrick put, who remembers Robbie Keane scoring his 100th Premier League goal against Sunderland? I was there. He did his cartwheel and gave me the guns. He used to do the bow as well for Ireland when he scored. Had a big Ireland flag, was class. Yeah, Robbie Keane. I mean, I had him as striker on my all-time Spurs 11, which really shocked the Coover and Phil, because I thought I was going to go for Lineker and Klinsmann and all the usual top thing, and I went for Robbie Keane. So, what do you say to that, Coover?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember the goal itself, but
No.
I certainly know the Robbie Keane celebrations. I mean, how many times did we see him with the cartwheel? And it was just quality. He really it was really celebrating with the fans, wasn't it? That celebration, big flamboyant it was showing. Loved it. How can you not love Robbie Keane anyway? He's a great player for us.
It's quite funny. So Alex said, that's gone. Now it's back. Okay. Boom. It's all good. It's very low.
It's probably the hamsters on the wheel in Dermot's PC just powering it. That's what's making the noise.
My Dell laptop, it probably is actually. They're probably working extra hard. Hang on. I don't know.
Did I just say 7-4?
Yeah, it must have meant corners or something, was it?
That was very, very quick and then off. I was like, wait a minute, what game are we watching?
I'm almost tempted to wind it back.
I know, but it's been a great day. It really has. Oh, God, not him again. Oh, Lord Jesus. Carl Simpson went for Keane, Defoe, and Bergman. What a front line that was. Yeah, that was a front line.
So do you know what? The one thing I will say, Dermot, and I don't mean to annoy you when I say this, I thought Robbie Keane was a great player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think the 2 years he had Berbatov were the best of Keane, and Berbatov made Keane better. Berbatov was one of those players, like you hear Teddy Sheringham talk about, you heard Jurgen Klinsmann talk about playing with Teddy Sheringham. You hear Alan Shearer talk about playing. He's one of those players, like Ledley King with any defender next to him. Berbatov, you talk about that understanding. Even Robbie Keane says it himself in interviews that Berbatov made him a better player. Berbatov could have been with anyone, any striker in the world, and he would have automatically made them better. He was that damn good.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Cooper, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I think what Brian said just summed it up perfectly. Berbatov, there was something just that little bit above other players around him. Look, we'd call it genuine world class nowadays. We overuse the phrase, I think, but he's one that actually does fit the bill. So incredibly gifted at everything he did. Could lead the line by himself, work well in a partnership, drop back deep, be up there putting his head up and on the line in the thick of it. He was everything you could possibly want in a striker. Pity we couldn't hold on to him for longer.
That's it. I know it was a shame. Our cellular agent says not a universal big bang sound, like a Ricky Sachs intro.
So you know what? Talking about Berbatov as well, what will show you what separates him? I'm going to struggle with that word. Let's go for separates him. And it's a clip from his Man United game, and I've never seen it before, and you'll never see it again, I think. And it just shows the brain this guy had, which was what he did on the touchline to set up Ronaldo. When but you'll see situations like that in every single game. No one has thought or even attempted to do what he did, let alone pull it off. It was just unbelievable what this guy was capable. I mean, he scored so many great goals for us, but if I was to say to you, and we know it because we've seen it, in his first season against Middlesbrough, he scored a bicycle kick volley from outside the area. Such was his thought process and execution levels. He scored that goal against Charlton where he flicked it round, like the Bergkamp goal, but he had a lot more time to do it, where he flicked it round someone and then ran off to put it in the back of the net. His goal against Wigan where he nutmegged someone and then just curls it into. He was on another planet. He was on another planet.
The best compliment I can give him, there was comparisons to be made with Hoddle. There was just that operating at that level above everybody around them. And he could be with great players and still be better.
Yep.
And you know what?
I was
sorry,
I was going to say on top there, I actually went to Ledley King's testimonial game, and Berbatov was there, and even at retirement, he was on another level. And there was some great. I know they're not playing at full pace, but he was just insanely good. I think it was on one of your streams. I think it might have been your best 11 one you were doing, Dermot, where someone said about we should have signed him before Fulham to come back. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know. Could you want to read some of these comments out?
Yep. We've got John Fitzpatrick. Robbie Keane was my childhood hero. When he signed for us, I quit school and moved to London.
Look at this! It's the player you tried to get me to pick. He's here. He's here at last.
Oh dear.
Do you want to explain the story behind that comment? Do you want to explain the story of me getting excited, Cooper? Because you tried to get me to pick him, didn't you? My all-time Spurs 11. Gary Doherty.
What, Berbatov?
No, Gary Doherty, who just came on.
Oh, well, yeah.
Stuart Nethercott that came on.
Or was it Stuart Nethercott?
Yeah.
But
he's just as good a quality.
Oh,
really.
no, don't Stuart bloody Nethercott.
He gets always the mention in the worst ever 11. Yeah, where we got John Fitzpatrick again. When Keane left for Liverpool, he broke my heart. Never liked him again, to be honest. Yeah, there was something that I didn't like the way that as soon as he started playing for Liverpool, he'd go out there with a shirt and kiss the badge immediately. I was just thinking, you were doing that for us last season. I mean,
Yeah.
how much do you really love the clubs then?
And then came back in January.
Yeah, but you got to observe. I loved it. Virgin were doing an advert saying when we bought him back in January, they actually had an advert going out saying London to Liverpool and back quicker than Robbie Keane, which was great. But you got to remember as well, he said when he left to Liverpool, "Oh, it was my dream move. I supported Liverpool as a kid. Obviously, didn't work. And then when he went on loan to Celtic, Celtic was my dream club. I supported it." It's like, be careful what you're saying. Be careful what you say. Say this opportunity was too good to turn down because of my roots or Liverpool. I understand, but to keep saying it at different clubs, the only club I'd ever kissed the badge of would have been Tottenham if I ever played. I would hold it like some players do, where they show the badge and whatever like that for another club, but I'd never kiss it. Never kiss it.
I would have made an exception for mighty Hereford United because I was that's family reasons, that one.
Yeah. And I would actually kiss the Irish badge for personal reasons.
Of course. Like I'd kiss the Tottenham badge and the England badge.
Yeah. Do you want to read the rest of them out?
Yeah. Carl Simpson. It hurt when Berber left to United. Made even more painful when. When Judas.
No, that's Fraser Campbell.
No, I can't. I can see. Only see. There, see, look.
Boo,
he keeps.
Get him off the bloody picture, would you?
I can't get the name Campbell. It's even saying it hurts. Yeah. He's talking about Fraser Campbell when he came the other way because he was just like he was an okay sort of kid, but you didn't think he was going to set the place alight, did you?
Yeah.
Building for the future, as the Parasite likes to say.
Yeah.
But where have we heard that before? Hang on, let me think.
Well, this is the thing, Dermot. This is the thing.
Since 2001, we've been hearing that.
We've got to wait now because you look at this great comment by Cole, and it comes to the point: if Kane does leave, who comes in? Now we all know we want Dusan and whatever. You need quality, but if he goes at any point in his career, and we do not sign a world-class striker, then there's going to be anarchy.
Yeah, there will be.
That's just typical, though, isn't it? While I'm reading that out, and the name comes up, and then the player's right there on the screen with the name on the back as well. It's like salt in the wounds there. No, just don't want to get that comment out of the way just because of the name.
Okay.
We'll just say Judas from now on, please, in chat. We won't use the. Right, John Fitzpatrick. I had that coat Francis is wearing. That brings me back.
Yeah.
Do you know what the hell has happened to Umbro? Like they were the face of English football and everything. They literally were, and now they've just I don't know if they went bankrupt or whatever.
No, I think they're still around. I think they still do kits, but I don't think. I think Nike and I think Nike's taken over the market now.
So basically, we could compare this. So basically, Umbro are the Nokia of the world and the phone world.
That's it.
Yeah, I suppose so. What was that? It was the kit manufacturer that Irving Scholar did the deal with.
Hummel.
They're the ones that screwed up royally with teams like Southampton failure to provide them with a kit and things like that. Yeah.
Everton kits made by Hummel now.
Yeah, they got over it eventually, didn't they? But they completely trashed their reputation. Right, who else we got? Celery Agent. By the time we start EPL again, we should have Romero back. Win-win, possibly some new transfers. Thoughts? We'll come to Brian last because I know what some of these thoughts are going to be. See, I'm trying to stay positive, even though I absolutely agree with what Brian says.
This is the thing you have, Kuva. You allow yourself to be positive. I really want to be like you. I just can't do it.
I've spent too much time around David Harris now. I've got to positive outlook.
That's
'Cause
one side of the spectrum to the other, isn't it? The
We
David
have
Harris
new-
of it.
we got Mark Cousins coming as well.
Yep. Sorry.
Good morning, Mark. How are you? Good afternoon.
How are we all?
Oh, I can see behind
there we go.
underneath.
Let's
What's
get-
up, Mark?
Let's Oh, hang on. I'm
Hang
just
on.
going to take the thing off just a second.
Yeah, I'm just
There
gonna
we go.
put. Yeah, we go. I'm at the
What's
bottom
up,
now.
Mark?
So. That's the
Yeah,
end of
go
the
on.
match.
I've got
Just very
I can go.
quickly. Yeah, that's the end of the match now. Tottenham beat Blackburn Rovers 3-1. Great game. But there you go. That's that match done. So now I'll take that off so we can all.
Oh, wait a minute. It's just there was a bit of Jurgen there.
Oh, there we go.
Oh no, wait, no, they saw the other side of him. No, forget it. No, turn it off quick.
Well, do you know what you could tell from that picture there? You could see the start of the Park Lane being built. Obviously, part of the lower was open,
Yeah.
but they were still building the upper. Good morning, beautiful. My wife is awake. Darling, my teacup's here for when you make your
I
coffee.
thought you were talking to me,
Good-
mate.
Good morning,
No,
Mrs.
she's
Daigle.
beautiful.
Good morning,
She-
Mrs. Daigle. Hope you're okay.
Everyone says good morning to you, brother. Brother, darling.
Brother.
Yeah, she just heard that. Darling.
Oh Lord.
Everyone says
Even did you notice? Even I started to duck down. I thought the cop was coming back.
Like, no, honestly, there's sometimes where I go, oh, mates were. She goes, mate. But once she went on to me. She said something I can't remember, but whenever she says it, we have a few saves that we've said stupidly to each other. So we go on a monologue of or a duologue or whatever you call it. But yeah, good morning, beautiful, not brother, beautiful, wonderful wife.
We can see Mrs. Daigle's sort of silhouette in the reflecting in the glass behind you.
Yes, that is her.
But-
Yeah, that's on the other screen. That's my beautiful wife.
No, think above that. Anyway, but
Can
she
I
didn't
just
appear
say,
to be
people,
holding
I
a
wear
frying
glasses,
pan, so I
and
think
you've got
you're
better
okay.
bloody eyesight than I have. I can't see nothing.
Could you see
Anyway.
just here, Coover? Dermot,
It's sort of
wait,
directly above
Yeah.
your head at the moment.
there.
No, up to
Oh,
your
yeah.
right, up to your left, probably. Up higher.
Oh Lord.
Then, mate, yeah. Then I don't know what you're seeing. Oh yes, I know what you're seeing now. But yeah.
Right. But anyway,
Mark,
like
good
I
morning.
said, she wasn't holding the frying pan above her head, so I think you're
Yeah,
all right.
she'll wait till I'm off camera to do that. She wouldn't. See, this is the thing. You know, like when people say they hurt people from the neck down,
Yeah.
so you can't see the bruises.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll wait till I'm off the screen to hit me with the frying pan for my Freudian slip. So yeah, but she knows I have. Whenever I put a status up on Facebook or anything, it's my beautiful, wonderful wife because that's what she is.
Well said, mate.
Just well said, very well. Just quick thought. Good morning, Mark, or good afternoon. Quick thoughts on the game being postponed tonight. And do you think it was inevitable, or do you think all games should be cancelled now for the foreseeable future?
Well, they all should be, really, I think. I mean, all right, it's, this new strain is not meant to be as bad, but it's still COVID. Just have a break. Get it under control, or let it go away a little bit and then come back.
You know what's happening, Mark, with COVID, and from what I've heard from this new strain, it's more contagious, but it's not as deadly as what the others are.
I've heard that.
From what I've heard, and it's got to the point now, like my mum said, "Oh, Gugama, love you, girl." But yeah, so it's got to the point now that my mum said, I think after the first lockdown or the second one, she was like, "Brian, listen, this is just going to be like the flu and cold now.
Yeah,
It's a part of our life now where these. My mum said it before you, darling. So my wife's now listening to what I'm saying. It's now just a part of us. It is now a part of it, and we're going to have our boosters every single year. There's always going to be a new variant. There's going to be, which basically, I think from what I was listening to in a medical kind of thing, this disease is very, very clever. And what it's going to keep doing is it's going to keep mutating so it stays in your system. But when I say stays in your system, it's just going to be a weaker strand where it will kind of like what this Omicron's doing, where it's less like for killing people, unlike the other strands, but it's still catchable. It's going to go undetected until it happens. So this is just going to keep happening until we literally, like I was saying earlier, Mark, I don't know if you were still on the stream when I said it, the world needs to lock down for like 5-6 months. Like nothing is coming in, nothing is going out. We are going to get all these boosters out and whatever, and the world just, like, the world will go on, but it just stops for 5-6 months, that every single country in the world can try and get their handle on it. And if that means, unfortunately, another lockdown with football, then as much as we would all hate it, we need to do what's best for the public and the world, not just where the money is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Cooper, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, it hasn't changed from earlier, has it? I mean, totally agree. We've got to look at people's health rather than looking at the finances. I mean, it's the finances is going to be affected for all of us, but don't see why you need to keep it going for the ones that are the most wealthy already at the expense of everybody else. Because we're not talking we're not talking sort of keeping the livelihood of us, and it's shopkeepers and self-employed people earning a crust. We're talking about a very rich company that's basically just wants their product on the shelves at all times. So let's not cave into it.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to? I'm just trying to do something very quickly. I've just got somebody else texting me about some more breaking news, so I'm just trying to do that. So if I put you there, Cooper, can you just take over the show for a few minutes? If I just
I can indeed.
try to dig into that.
I really feel like I'm on Sky Sports with Dermot. It's like, over to Dermot, breaking news.
You've got the headset on and everything, so it's
exactly. Let's just go over to our reporter over there in the field. I just always.
Can I just say we have a Canadian reporter over there in the corner. We have our Dorset. Where are you from, Mark? Is it Dorset?
Somerset.
We have our Somerset reporter there, and Cooper's up there. So yeah, we're covered. We're covered all over the world.
We've got the West Country covered this morning.
Yeah, and Canada as well.
Yeah.
Here we go. Carl Simpson. There is only one kit manufacturer, and that is Pony.
So do you know what, Cole? I don't know if everyone. Oh, I know this happened with everyone. Their quality was so shit. I remember buying the first one with Hewlett Packard with the collar, and after about three washes, the collar turned pink in stages, in blotches. Jesus Christ!
It was so fitting that they were called Pony, wasn't it?
Yep. I mean, yeah.
Can you remember the brown kit? Can you remember that brown kit that came out?
Yep.
I think it started off yellow, didn't it?
Well, it was like those hypercolor t-shirts. Do you remember the hypercolor t-shirts that change color with your body heat? That's what Pony did with the wash.
I bought the brown kit, and the sponsor name fell off of it. I think, was it Pony?
Yeah. Pony was the manufacturer. Hewlett Packard.
No, Puma. Was it a Puma one?
We had brown with Puma. No, it might have been Kappa. I don't think we went brown with Puma.
Well, whatever one it was, all the like sponsorship thing fell off of it. The sponsor thing fell off of it.
Oh, typical.
Even if you took care and turned it inside out to protect the all the sort of what was clearly ironed on at the last moment sort of parts, you just got the feeling it was knockoff stuff from the market, didn't you?
Oh yeah, they were hideous. They were hideous. But you know what? We had Hewlett Packard sponsored, like with a sponsorship log in their name. But if people remember, one of the very first Under Armour kits that we had, we were sponsored by Hewlett Packard again, and we had the HP as just a blue circle. I loved that kit.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I tell you what, Under Armour were fantastic. Now I have an obsession with Dwayne the Rock Johnson, so I wear Under Armour a lot. I've got his Rock trainers, I've got his Rock face mask, I've got.
Can you smell?
Well, mate, listen, I'll tell you what now. Everyone will know if I'm in the cinema, and this is a good hint to ever say, oh, it's Daigle. Whenever I go to a movie, if it's his movie or he comes on in a trailer, I don't care how packed the cinema is, I scream exactly that. If you smell la la la, what the Rock, so you're like, okay, he's in the cinema.
I used to watch WWF years ago.
Yeah,
when he
Stone
was
Cold
in,
and The Rock.
Oh mate, that was the best. That was
Attitude Era.
Oh mate, I know every single one, pretty much all of his big promos off by heart.
Yes, yes.
I'm obsessed with him.
And you had Stone Cold doing his feud with Vince McMahon. That was absolutely hilarious.
That was the funniest.
It
Beer bath.
Forget wrestling. It was just stupid storyline after stupid storyline. It was brilliant.
So I've taken Stone Cold. When I left England, I literally took a Stone Cold Austin and I said to Levy. So basically, me being Austin, Levy being McMahon, it was Daigle 316 says I just whoop Levy's ass. So yeah, I have adopted that.
Stomp a mud hole.
And the good thing is, so again, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I've got a cousin back home, and she's trying to get sponsorship to get her visa. Stone Cold Steve Austin is her sponsor. Because basically when he so one of his wives were English and had an English kid, and that's her best mate. And she goes, I was actually like a few years ago, like before she knew I was mad on wrestling, she actually went over and stayed with her at Stone Cold Steve Austin's house, and was like, yes, so Stone Cold used to, I speak to him all the time. Like, I was like, next time you speak to him, or you're with him, you are calling me. She's like, yeah, okay. I was like, all right.
What I really like about him is everybody says he's a really brilliant bloke when he's not performing as well. Yep. He's got so many great stories. Runs a really good, really funny podcast as well. Or at least, I love listening into all the old stories from there. It's really funny. Ties in with Attitude Era as well. So
Attitude Era, you just couldn't miss it. It was just like SmackDown and Raw, even with the time zones being awful. I'd stay up and watch it live or record it.
So would I.
And I just would.
Yeah, it was guilty pleasure for me because I'm thinking, well, it's all fake. We know it's all fake, but you still admire the sort of your athleticism in it and the routines. They're doing amazing stuff. I mean, some of the infamous stuff like Mick Foley being thrown off the top of a steel cage through an announcement table.
That was mental. I remember that night.
Yeah,
that was just unbelievable.
I couldn't believe it. I know it's all fixed and that, but I just couldn't believe that.
Yeah,
they still put themselves through it though, don't they?
You just look at some of the stuff that Shane McMahon jumps through or jumps off or whatever. Yeah. That guy is like, yes, it's all planned in the ring, but you watch what The Undertaker did to Mick Foley, that could go horribly wrong. That could, whether it's performed or not, even stuntmen, even professional stuntmen, that could go wrong for. So the fact they're willing to put their body on the line to do that is just incredible.
You remember Mick Foley during that one incident, he had one of his teeth knocked out and pushed out through his nose.
Yeah.
And he carried on. Not only did he come out at the end of the show, he was wrestling the next evening.
Yeah, but not just that. You got to remember, after that, they started taking him off with the doctors, and obviously that part. But then he climbs back at the top because he's like, no, and then he gets backdropped through the cage or through the Hell in the Cell. It's just like that man was just.
It was a choke slam.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you got choke slams. If you speak,
choke slam. It was Triple H.
Yeah.
No, it was the Undertaker.
No, Triple H done a Hell in a Cell with him, and did a backdrop that he fell through. But the Undertaker was a choke slam
as well. I haven't seen that one. But I've seen
there was the same. It was the one where he got thrown choke slam through. Was the same match where he got thrown off the edge and onto the announce table.
Yeah.
Apparently the one where he went through the middle and into the ring, that was the one that all the wrestlers backstage were really fearful about. Yeah, they thought he'd done serious damage there.
Yeah, I've seen documentaries.
And he was out cold, I believe. Yeah.
Well, I've seen documentaries on Facebook and YouTube and that, and all the wrestlers big him up for not the first bit where they chucked him through the table, the second bit where he got chokeslammed.
Yeah. And have you watched the Undertaker's one when he brought it out after the Undertaker's documentary? Is incredible.
Yeah.
It's like a 5-part one. It's incredible.
Yeah. But you got to remember all right, we all know it's fake and it's like, but most of these blokes, they're like upwards of 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
And like 30 stone. And they're jumping around like ballerinas.
Well, you think about it, you look at those, getting away from those, you look at the table, ladder and chairs matches with the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. They were like there's some of that. I don't care how fake it is. Like when Edge spears Matt Hardy from the, and also you have those no DQs or street fights where they throw them onto the thumbtacks, and you see
Yeah.
they're stuck in. You see they're stuck in. Now, obviously, it's not like a be all and end all wrestling move that's scripted or whatever. But I dare anyone, I don't care how strong you are or how fake you are, I'll come and get you and throw you onto a bed of thumbtacks, and let's see. And then I want you to perform for the next half hour after it. It's like, yeah, all right.
Mental.
Yeah.
It was also Mick Foley who had to be in a headlock. I think it was Vader that was dragging him around the ring, and he literally tore his ear off on the ropes. And instead of getting attention to his ear, there's Vader just picking up his severed ear part, holding it up like a trophy in the ring, cheering at people. And it's like, it just carries on. Oh, anyway, mental. We've got a bit sidetracked here, I think, fellas.
I've got 10 minutes till I will be going because wifey needs to log in.
Yeah, well, we won't be along for much longer. Just one quick question to everyone. We will be back later with some sort of a show now that Tottenham's off. And I was just speaking to Mr. Harris.
Yeah, what's your breaking news?
I can't confirm it yet. It's something else. I've got to keep it under my hat for about 24 hours. Then I can break it. But it's something major that will blow your socks off. I will tell you off when we come offline. If you can hang on for a few minutes, I'll tell you all offline.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Wrap up the show. Okay, it's been nice seeing you.
Yeah. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks for 5 minutes.
Go away.
See, Mark, you're gonna see. This is part of the family. You're gonna hear the stuff. This is what you get.
Very, very quickly, Mr. Harris. I was speaking to him just now, just on the phone to him. He's very pissed with the Premier League and the Premier League and why it's called off today. So I think he might be doing a show later about that. So everyone get over to the Irish Hotspur for him and Jack.
Good session by the sounds of it. Yeah.
Very quickly, what's your thoughts on the Premier League? I mean, they're a joke, aren't they? Just very quickly, I'll go around. Mark, do you think the Premier League are a joke?
Well, it's a bit like our government. They always seem to shut the door after the horses run away. You know what I mean? Bolt the door after the horses buggered off.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
The phrase, but it's good enough.
Yeah, that's close enough, isn't it?
Yeah, they'll do it.
Brian?
Yeah, listen, we were saying this during the game. It's come to the point this isn't about football anymore. It's about the human being staying safe and fighting this now. It's not just like we said, it's not just the players, it's the players that go back to their families, it's their families that have kids that go to school. This is how quickly it starts doing what it does. And also, like we said, the travelling for fans or even the home fans, it comes to a point where you're like, right, listen, this is unacceptable. This has got to be dealt with somehow. Do you know what? You know how we were talking about earlier, Kuva, about Darren Anderson being rushed back quickly? This is exactly the same scenario.
It is, isn't it?
But with the world.
Yeah.
It's the only way I can sum it up.
Anyway, right, I'll reiterate that as well. I couldn't agree more. I think at the end of the day, I think the entire situation should have been something that was taken out of the Premier League's hands. It should have been from government that things were going to be called off, because that's the way to do it. You give people a chance to make money, but in this way, they're going to choose to make money. Don't give them the option. It's got to come from the government.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the everyone's comment. I think everyone's going to be pissed off with them. I know I am, and I know, but at least, and there's all the players, fans that have been up there already. But as I said, we will be back later at 5:30. I don't know what we're going to do. We'll probably we need a big game, don't we, Kuva? We need a cup final win to boost make everyone happy.
Yeah, I think so.
So we're either going to go for the 73. Everyone loves Ralph Coates on this channel for some reason with his comb over, and he scored the winner. So I think we might show him later. We'll have to give Mr. Ralph Coates the big up. But thank you very much, Carl Simpson. I will tell you tomorrow, I promise. I just can't say now. Oh God! If I told you all now, I'd be carted off to jail and put in handcuffs by Levy for the next 30 years.
I've got an idea. Tell everyone then, because then when you get one phone call, it could be me, and then I can deal with Levy. There's the link. There's the link I've been waiting for.
I can't
Take
do
one
it.
for the team.
I
Come on,
can't
big
tell
up
you. I
Tottenham.
can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I will explain why later. I won't in a minute. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Absolutely brilliant morning. Very quickly, Brian, safe journeys to the UK.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you've done and doing like with Levy and everything. You're
Yep.
not you're an inspiration, just not to me, but to every proper Spurs fan that should do this movement. So big up to you. Where can people find you, and where will you be
So
in England for any
I
of the
will-
games going ahead?
if any of the games going ahead and I've got my negative COVID test, I'm not going out of the house until I get my negative COVID test when I come back. Obviously, this is all dependent, everything I'm about to say, on Bob. Because if I was meant to go to a game, but Kim needs me, I'm sorry, but Bob comes first. So you can find me on Tottenham on tour. If I am going to home games, and please, people, if you're going to home games and you didn't come over to see me before, please come over and see me because it'd be great to talk to you. I will be at the protests opposite, or I say protest, we need to get more people, but we're there, we're doing our bit. Directly opposite the club shop. You can't miss us because all the Levy banners are out behind us. So you can find me there, but I'll be going on everyone's channel as and when I can when I'm over. But the most important place where you can find me is Tottenham on tour.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually going on tour tomorrow.
Yeah. And safe journeys, Brian, and
Thank you.
And let us know when you're in England, and we'll get us on. But keep and keep us up to date about Bob's back.
Oh, just to let people know, sorry, just one thing I was going to say. I will have a UK number, which I will text people in the UK, so you can call me easily. But my WhatsApp number is still my Canadian. So people reach me, you can still reach me on my Canadian number. That stays the same for WhatsApp, but I will have a UK number. So when I'm out, I don't have to use Wi-Fi for WhatsApp. So I will let people know that. But you can find me on all the social medias or my Canadian WhatsApp.
Yeah, and also I want to say big up to Kim as well. I mean, God love her. We're all here for you, Kim. So if you need anything, we're all on WhatsApp for you.
Absolutely.
And right, Mark, where can people find you? I don't know if you're on Twitter or anywhere, but give yourself a bit of a plug. Yeah,
you're on mute.
You're on mute. Hang on. You've muted yourself. We can't hear you. Hello, he's gone.
And now we can't see you, Mark.
No,
I'll just while we got the opportunity, I'll just start to say, Brian, it's an honour to have got to know you over the last few weeks on YouTube. Seeing the amount of work you do for people behind the scenes, especially, you're an incredible bloke, and I think Bob's doing well to have you in his corner, mate. You doing what you're doing. You take my breath away with the commitment you've got for other people. Top stuff, mate. I hope it all goes well for you on the trip. And let's have some bloody good news at the end of it, eh?
Kuva, like I said, the kind words, I still get my head around it because obviously there's a lot of people. I get messages going, Brian, I'm in awe of you. But you're incredible. And I'm like, whoa. I know, obviously you see me on YouTube and whatever. It's who I am. I've learned through my many mistakes in life with alcohol, drugs, mental health, violence, that listen, that's not the way to be. It's doing this. It's doing good. And don't get me wrong, I can still be a little bastard. But with family and with friends, this is what you get with me. It's like if you need me and I can help, I'm there. Just like the Spurs community. To get home, the people that have helped me with money and everything, it just goes to show how incredible this community is, because there was no way I could get home otherwise. And Gogama, the reason I'm going home is obviously to be by Bob's side, or as close as I can to Bob, but also to help Kim. So I was going back in February if Daniel Levy didn't spend, but that's not happening now. Bob comes first, so I'm flying back. But yeah, Kuva, thank you very much for the words. And like I said, I will always be here to help all of you guys whenever needed.
Oh, bless you, Brian. You really
Big
are.
up, Brian.
You're an inspiration, Brian. Now, Mark, we can hear you now. Where can people find you?
I'm sorry about this. Someone phoned me and I'm rubbish with technology, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have a clue.
Mark. You'll be a pro soon.
pressed-
You'll be a pro.
Normally, I find shouting and swearing helps, but it didn't.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I said I'm not on YouTube, but I did tell a lie. When I come on your channel the other day, there was, remember when Chris Cowlin done his running around all the stadiums?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
Parts
When he
of it.
came to my hometown, I knew he was going there, and I went and met him, and he interviewed me. So if you search
Oh,
the one
check
where he
it out.
runs round, if you go on his channel and search the one where he runs round Yeovil's ground, there's me outside Yeovil's ground with a Tottenham shirt on.
There you go.
So that was my first appearance on YouTube.
There you
Yeah, all
go.
right,
And the
wasn't very
first of
long.
many.
Well, I don't know about many.
Well, you're a part of this picture on here now, Mark. You're a part of the morning show on here. So that's where
Yeah,
people
yeah.
can
Well,
find
I'll
you.
come on whenever I can.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome. You and
Thank
Coover
you.
being neighbours, you know, you have to.
I'm
you
just
have
turning
to,
my camera off because you can see the TV. I'm still with you guys, but you can see
Yeah.
the TV. Someone's just said, so I don't want you seeing the TV. So,
Right, no
good
problem.
I'm
old
not going
copyright
down.
strikes.
I
We're
could say something rude along them lines, but I'm not going to.
Yes, my mother-in-law and my wife watching the news. So yeah.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up anyway, aren't we, Tom?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, because my
Listen,
wife needs to log in any second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank
Okay.
you very
I'm one
much
bit
all
news
for coming.
out, and then I'm
Yeah.
off for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much for everyone who's joined us this morning. We'll be back later with the show. Thank you to Brian. Thank you to Mark coming on. Big up to Coover. And thank you for everyone who's came on this morning. We had a blast. But just quick breaking news. Tottenham Leicester is off. So please don't go to the game. Liverpool could be off, but we will let you know about that as soon as we know. So go on. Do your famous words, Brian, to bring us out.
And as always, leave you out.
When the Spurs go marching in,